All right, we should be live for another day of politics and much more. Live for Yes, we are. Perfect. We are here. We have a Moose on the Loose video to go through. We have a Nick Shirley video to go through. And then we have question period, the main event of the evening. Let's get right into the Moose on the Loose video.
And we're going to say you're going to reduce the prices. We're not going to do it and they're not going to reduce. They're going to have to reduce their prices.
Got a lot of big stuff happening here today. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today we got some new polling data. We've got Donald Trump threatening new tariffs on potash fertilizer. Later today, the House will vote on Pierre Poilievre's opposition motion on building a pipeline from Alberta to the BC coast. Got some other stuff here. Let's jump into this. Starting this one off, we got Shreya Teese posting this new Nanos poll showing 39.1% Liberal, down almost 3%, and Conservatives at 37.8%. So just a difference of 1.3%. So this is once again neck and neck. I don't know who keeps supporting the Liberals. It's time to wake up. The sheep need to wake up at some point. The most impressive thing about this is that the weakest NDP that I remember is stealing back votes, most likely from the Liberals. And we see that with the NDP here going up 1.1%, almost 10%. They are in fact stealing back some support from the Liberals. They have their leadership race going on, so it's probably stirring up a little bit of excitement in NDP world. We also got this one here from Canada Proud. It says, Canadians, how do you think the Carney Liberal budget will impact your finances? This isn't good for Carney. Look at this. So 31% saying no impact, but then you've got 19% somewhat worsen and worsen at 15. So a total of 34% of people saying this would negatively impact their finances, and only 13% somewhat improve and 4% improve. So 17% positive. Not exactly a glowing review of his budget. Moving ahead, we've got this one. PM Mark Carney announces $400 million joint fund with Ottawa to build 3,000 affordable homes with shovels to hit the ground next year. As I've broken down the math before with that immigration website, this one here, immigrationstatistics.ca, building 3,000 homes doesn't matter. Every day there are thousands of people coming to Canada and looking for a place to live. This won't account for even a couple of days of these new people. And sure, if you break it down for only Ottawa, maybe it's a couple of weeks of the new people coming in before it just starts overflowing again. And these houses aren't built. So there's going to be a massive deficit, increasing deficit before this happens. We also got this one, Botello Bridge. This is in Greater Vancouver that connects Coquitlam and Surrey. Just got a rename to whatever the heck this is. Stawosome Bridge will be featured on the Bridge Tower crossbeam. That's great. What if there's an emergency? 911. Hi, I need help. I'm on the bridge. The Stawosome Bridge. It's got a backwards E and like some W with a little thing above it. 911's like, oh, could you be more specific? Oh, they're dead. We're not a serious country with this kind of stuff. There's two official languages in Canada. It's English and French. If they want to have some honorary name, put this as an honorary name underneath it or something, they should be leaving this as the Botello Bridge. Moving ahead, so Pierre Poilievre's motion to build a pipeline, it is already blowing up in Mark Carney's face. And here he is from a couple of years ago. What do you have to say about pipelines, oil and gas?
That's half of gas, 3/4 of coal, etc. Maybe up as much as half of oil reserves, proven reserves, need to stay in the ground if we're going to get to where we are.
Are these the actions of a man who supports pipelines?
Carney doesn't want to pull oil out of the ground. As he said, he wants to leave it in the ground. He said this in his own book. Pierre Poilievre forcing his hand with this, and this is just making him look like a fool.
Tim, on this side of the border, Prime Minister Mark Carney's promise to transform Canada into an energy superpower is part of his government's strategy to pivot the country from dependency on the U.S. market. This week, a Conservative motion in the Commons will put Carney's MPs to the test. As JP Tasker tells us, the motion is meant to force Liberals to show their support for a new oil pipeline to the BC coast.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is turning up the pressure on Liberal MPs.
I'm forcing the Liberals to put up or shut up.
Poilievre is planning to introduce a motion Tuesday that will force MPs to vote on whether they support building a new oil pipeline to the Pacific, part of an agreement already reached by the Prime Minister and Alberta's Premier.
That was all for show, that whole thing, signing that. We all knew that this is not going to happen, and Pierre is forcing this.
He's blown 8 months saying one thing to his Keep It in the Ground caucus and the opposite to Albertans. It's time for Mark Carney to stop speaking out of both sides of his mouth.
While the vote is non-binding, it could have political ramifications.
We got Andrew Scheer on CBC talking more about this. David Cochrane desperately trying to defend Carney's position here.
If we ever got to the point of things like looking at the moratorium on tanker traffic, that would require some kind of change of legislation. So I think Canadians deserve to know exactly where this government stands. Mark Carney has made a practice now of saying one thing to one group of people. When he's in Alberta, he'll say positive things about it, but when he goes to other places, he says things like, well, you know, the Premier of British Columbia gets a veto, and necessary but not sufficient, and all kinds of confusing language. So tomorrow's an opportunity for Liberals to just clearly state, do they support a pipeline to the Pacific so we can export more Canadian oil and gas overseas, yes or no?
But, well, I don't. The Prime Minister has not used the word veto. He did say in question period, BC government would need to approve. So that opens up.
What happens if they don't?
No, I just want to quote him accurately. But these are not sufficient conditions yet for a pipeline, right? There's no proponent. There's been no consultation.
What does that matter? It's showing, does he support this project or not? The Conservatives are doing something smart here. They're separating Mark Carney's fake middle-of-the-road conservatism that he keeps stealing and pushing him over to the far left. Either you support the pipeline or you don't, and you have to vote on it now.
There's no route. There's no Indigenous support. I mean, there is this MOU, but it is not at the sufficient stage, right?
Well, first of all, Mark Carney is becoming famous for this kind of liberal wordplay where he says, oh, it's not a veto, but an approval is required. Well, we all know what happens when somebody is, when somebody says, well, somebody has to agree for it to proceed. Well, then withholding that agreement is in effect a veto. He has not ever said that even if the British Columbia government opposed it, that he would approve it anyway. Secondly, to your point, first of all, there are on the previous Northern Gateway project, I think it's important to kind of take a step back and say, how did we get here?
Sure.
On the previous Northern Gateway project, which would have opened up Asian markets to Canadian energy, there were lots of First Nations communities who would benefit and sign on to partnership agreements. What Mark Carney is saying when he says that these conditions are necessary but not sufficient, you're right, there's lots of things in the MOU that haven't happened yet. But what Mark Carney is saying, that even if all these things happen, it still might not proceed. So that's why there's just so much confusion around here. There's no confusion from other political parties. Don Davies and the NDP, very clear. They do not support a pipeline. The Conservatives, very clear. We want a pipeline built to put men and women in the energy sector back to work and get off of U.S. dependence in terms of a market. The Liberals, all over the map, very confusing. We just believe Canadians deserve clarity.
So why would Mark Carney spend political capital and time to sign a deal with Daniel Smith, who has not been a fan of Liberal governments, as you're well aware? He had a high-profile resignation from Cabinet and former Minister Guilbeault, which is going to hurt him in parts of Quebec. The pipeline itself is an unpopular notion in the lower mainland of British Columbia, which could cost some seats to the New Democrats. And members of his Net Zero Advisory Committee have been resigning in protest of the rollback of environmental policy that's in this. Why would he do all of those things and take all of those hits if he wasn't serious about trying to get a pipeline to the Pacific coast?
Because polling data going all the way back to when Mark Carney got elected has said the same thing, that more than half Canadians, well more than half Canadians, you can see here, are in favor of a new pipeline. This one's back from October 9th. You're seeing 59%, 56, 78, 77, 66, 59, 50, and 56. The minimum is 50%, and that's in Quebec. And you see the same thing here. This one's from Bloomberg, 85, 59, 80, 85, 80. Carney knows that to get more votes, he has to pretend that he's going to build a pipeline.
Well, I believe that he understands that Canadians want to see some progress on this. Canadians overwhelmingly support exporting more of our oil and gas. Canadians definitely want to diversify our trading markets, but he doesn't believe in it himself. Remember, he wrote a book called Values, where he described himself on a very integral level, and he talked about his love of carbon taxes, his belief that we need to leave our natural resources in the ground. I mean, he talked about making people go through great hardship in the next few years. So I believe it's a case that, look, he can read the polls, he can see where the Canadian people are at, but he doesn't actually want to do it because he doesn't believe in it. So he's trying to do half measures. Now,
it's a lot of capital and effort to waste on something you don't want, though.
If I'm wrong, he could show up tomorrow and he can vote in favor of our motion and clearly say, I support a pipeline.
Right. Okay. Well, I want to play a clip. This is from a Calgary Liberal MP, Corey Hogan, who said that today that a yes or a no vote actually potentially makes the pipeline less likely because of the implications of it. Just have a listen to what Mr. Hogan had to say.
This is a motion that's designed to provoke and to divide, and the Leader of the Opposition doesn't seem to care that the motion actually makes less likely the thing he says he wants, which is a pipeline. If it's a yes,
He's blaming Poilievre if this doesn't yield a pipeline. What a ridiculous statement. If you're in favor of it, you vote for it. If you're not, you're not.
Let's vote. It might look like we don't take seriously our, requirement to consult with BC and First Nations. And if it's a no vote, it might look like we're not serious about the pipelines.
I mean, is that not the net effect of what this motion does?
If the motion has that effect, then what effect does the MOU have?
Well, but the MOU has a language about, you've pulled out one specific section of the MOU, like the part about...
Listen to this nonsense on here. David Cochrane is so biased, it's unbelievable. The whole thing, he just defends it and defends it, defends it. It has come out now that Mark Carney's government will not support this motion, as in they will not support a pipeline to British Columbia. This is all just smoke and mirrors. These are lies, and Carney's taking a little bit of a political hit on this, but he's trying to trick Canadians. He knows more than half of Canadians are in favor of a pipeline. As they mentioned there, Corey Hogan will not support this either. Michelle Rempel-Garner posting this as he's the only Liberal MP from Alberta, from Calgary, and he's not supporting a pipeline. Wow. Moving ahead, we've got some news coming from Trump here. Look what he's doing in America. We've got Trump just said that the right to repair is coming to farmers. So basically John Deere, the tractors, they have this whole shenanigans. Basically, they have to repair them. Farmers can't just get in there and fix their own tractors. They become so complicated. Trump's changing that.
It's very important. We're going to also give the tractor companies, John Deere and all of the companies that make the equipment, we're going to take off a lot of the environmental restrictions that they have on machinery. It's ridiculous. I know because I buy a lot of that machinery for different things. We have a lot of big clubs with, hundreds, thousands of acres. And I buy a lot of stuff, and you buy it, it's got so much equipment on it for the environmental, it doesn't do anything, except it makes the equipment much more expensive and much more complicated to work. And it's not as good as the old days. And we're going to take a lot of that nonsense off of the equipment, which is going to reduce, and we're going to do it, and we're going to say you're going to reduce the prices. We're not going to do it, and they're not going to reduce. They're going to have to reduce their prices because farming equipment has gotten too expensive.
Just imagine if the Liberal government was fighting for farmers in Canada. We've also got this one here. So this lady sitting next to him is a rice farmer. She brings up a couple countries here that are flooding rice into the American market to drive down prices and essentially mess up the competition there.
I believe that countries are dumping rice into this country today. We've never seen imports this great.
Which countries?
India, Thailand, even China into Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico used to be one of the largest markets for U.S. rice. We haven't shipped rice into Puerto Rico in years. And, we're hopeful that we can even move that further. I know that rice prices right now are the lowest they've been in over 40 years. So we're going to struggle. We're going to max out on our payments probably. So that's something that I know those in Congress can potentially help us with to change. But again, we appreciate everything you're doing.
That's solved so quickly with tariffs to these countries that are illegally shipping.
Next up, we got Donald Trump saying that he might put a tariff on potash, fertilizer coming out of Saskatchewan. Kirk posting this, so 85% of U.S. imports of potash come from Canada. U.S. only produces 420,000 metric tons, which is less than 10% of its demand. So they very much need this from us. Putting a tariff on this would just make food more expensive in America.
Fertilizer plays another role. Now, a lot of that, the way I understand it, it comes in from Canada, different countries like that. What are we doing to bolster domestic fertilizer production to help make that more affordable? And then I think that will transition
one
down.
of the things, a lot of it does come in from Canada, and so we'll end up putting very severe tariffs on that if we have to, because that's the way you want to bolster here, and we can do it here. We can all do that here, but I would say what you do, you put very severe tariffs on from coming into other countries, you'll be making your own fertilizer.
In fact,
yeah, fertilizer is not one of these situations where tariffs is going to work because these mines for potash takes a long time. On the shortest end, it's like 7 years, more typically 10, up to 15 years to get this into production. Well, Trump's going to be out of office by then. So whether America likes it or not, they're buying our potash. Putting a tariff on it, a severe tariff, would increase food prices in America, no doubt. American farmers will only pay more. It takes several years to build a potash mine. Just as I said, this is not something that can easily be done quickly. With that, we got a panel here on CTV discussing this.
Well, what's one to make of it? Like, I don't know. What would I say? Donald Trump, has got 1,000 problems right now, and Canada ain't one of them. Since Gallup started doing presidential polling, he's hit, I think, a new low for any U.S. president at this point in their administration at 36% support. I think he is in a very weakened position. almost across the board. The off-cycle elections did not go well for the Republican Party, largely because of the president and his agenda, and one of the most unpopular portions of that being the tariffs. I think he's facing a high prospect of a Supreme Court striking down a number of his tariff measures, which I think would be yet another devastating blow for his administration. And you're seeing him having to do his taco. Trump always chickens out on another whole range of tariffs because of the unpopularity of rising domestic prices on foodstuffs. And now he's talking about
this whole taco thing. Like, I get leftists really like to throw that around, but it comes down to it. He put tariffs on many of the sectors here in Canada, so it doesn't always chicken out.
Tariffing fertilizer, Canadian fertilizer, much of which, unless they're going to discover potash where they haven't yet in the United States, is coming from the blessed land of Saskatchewan. I don't see an alternative for them. So what does that do? It raises food prices even more. Trump is in a lot of trouble. He's in a lot of trouble on a lot of issues. And I think the best thing that Carney and the Canadian negotiating team can do is be very busy doing other things, like getting trade deals with other people around the world, and allow political gravity to bring the president down to something more approaching planet Earth.
Clear picture of what will happen, let's say, from the domestic perspective, Tom, which is, there's nobody rushing to make some sort of big deal with the U.S. president, but that means that those sectoral tariffs remain in place, and then they'll have to focus on what they do, like last week in the case of Algoma, how they keep those sectors afloat, if in fact that is the objective. For how long is that arrangement politically palatable?
I think that it's really starting to hit home with the average American that tariffs are hurting the average American. Donald Trump is a really good salesman. And he's like a Carney barker. He's got, a cure for everything, and you've got to listen to him, and he keeps explaining. And sometimes it works, but it's not Canadian companies. It's not Canadian governments that are paying the tariffs that will be imposed on potash.
Canadian government is paying the price here for Mark Carney not getting a deal with America. Even if the Supreme Court strikes down the tariffs and pulls them off and it's better for Canada, Mark Carney will still be known as the guy who couldn't get a deal, a guy who lied, who said he could handle guys like Donald Trump when he's proven he cannot, or he will not. We don't know yet if he's working with the guy.
American consumers.
And the government has had to spend hundreds of billions of dollars to bail out these companies that were essentially going under. So yes, they are paying for it. And I would just like to also point out that if the United States was doing so poorly, then why is every company running to the United States, investing in the United States? Like, the whole discussion we're having right now is because jobs are constantly leaving Canada, and they're going where? Oh, that's right, the United States. So they could sit here and claim all this, but companies wouldn't be leaving hand over fist and laying off employees and investing billions of dollars down south if it was a bad idea. I don't get where this is coming from. Okay, he's not popular in the eyes of the people. Okay, sure. Is he bringing in lots of money? I would argue, yeah. Once again, these companies are running to the United States. They aren't staying here. They aren't going to the UK. They aren't going to Brazil or Africa or Japan or China. Maybe they're going to China, actually. That might actually have its own argument. But the fact of the matter is they're not staying here. So I don't know what to tell you at this point. It sounds a bit flawed. This argument of, well, they're doing so poorly. I don't know. Are they? Maybe Democrat states are doing poorly. Maybe states that have a more or a higher tax. I don't know. Possibly. Every state is different. I don't know. I'm not American. But what I do know is nobody is coming here to invest. Not to the level they are in the United States. So, I don't know. Things don't seem to be adding up.
Because farmers use potash as part of their fertilizers on every single acre of field producing food in the U.S. So it might be a bit hard for somebody to understand that the reason their pickup truck is now costing thousands of dollars more is because steel is being tariffed, and as it comes into the States, it goes into those products like pickup trucks and cars, and they are paying for it. And Trump needed that money so he could give tax breaks to the richest Americans. That's complicated. Food is not complicated. If somebody explains to you that because Trump, and we've got to hold on to that clip forever, Trump's sitting there promising, we can produce more fertilizer. I love that. Never lose that one. But that's exactly what he does all the time. And here, the average American can say, hold on, if the Canadians had decided to put an export tax on potash, we would have been railing, saying it's going to raise the price of food in the United States. But somehow Trump believes that he's going to be able to con people into understanding that it's okay to tariff. It's turned into a verb, to tariff potash that goes into the American foods production system and that American consumers are going to be paying for. It's madness, but it exposes Trump much more than the more arcane world of metal productions and such. This everybody gets vastly simply because they go to the supermarket and they know their food's costing more because of Donald Trump.
So as we already saw there, most potash comes from Canada going down to America. I believe Canada's got, more specifically, Saskatchewan's got 2 more potash mines that are nearly completed as well. So whether Trump likes it or not, they have to buy our potash here. So there's another one coming from...
We simply cannot ignore the past 10 years. We can't ignore that. Like, what the hell? The number one factor of grocery prices rising isn't Donald Trump. It was the previous Liberal government. My God, people. Yes, things have gotten more expensive, absolutely, and Mark Carney is to blame for that because he claimed to be the one with the plan and all the experience. The master negotiator, Mark Carney, is to blame for this. And Justin Trudeau, where literally everything doubled over 10 years. Literally doubled. That's not like a made-up thing. It's on the government website. You can look at the food prices over a decade. Like, it just feels like they need a boogeyman to blame, and Donald Trump is just such an easy target because everybody blames him. But nobody wants to look back on the track record of a terrible liberal government that single-handedly destroyed this country. They just did. There's no other way to put it. Like, the last year with the tariffs have not been good, obviously. It doesn't take a genius to know that. The jobs are pouring out. The companies are going and investing in the States. It hasn't been good for us. Who's to say what's actually happening in the United States? I don't know. But what I do know is they're not investing here. They're investing over there. Literal billions and billions of dollars flowing into there constantly. And we're running away to the EU, and we're running away to the 4th and 5th place trading partners instead of trying to fix what we already had. I don't know. It's just mind-blowing to me. Let's forget the past 10 years and just Orange Man bad. Orange Man bad is the reason why everything sucks now. I don't know. It just comes off as a weird way of thinking. Just like these people are too lazy to think further and beyond that. It's just, I don't know. It's very strange. All the statistics are out in the open. All you have to do is go and look at it. The government website. Go look at the past from 2015 to now. Just go look at it. It's right there.
From Jensen Pot.
Anyway, we are going to... we got a couple minutes left in this one. We'll finish it off.
Potash project says here, expected to begin mid-2027. And there's this one here. K&S expands potash production in Saskatchewan, investing $3 billion to expand Bethune mine in Saskatchewan, a strategic move, etc., etc. So Trump is using this as a negotiating tactic, but I mean, really, that's not going to happen. They're not going to just quickly build a potash mine in a year.
Donald Trump had to give a $12 billion bailout to American farmers because of his tariff policy today. So I don't understand how when they get 80% of the potash that they use, 80% of the fertilizer they use, comes from raw materials from Saskatchewan, Corey's home province. It is so bizarre to me that they think they can invent a solution. I mean, I think part of the problem is that it's not exactly like the president is surrounded by a top-notch crew of really crackerjack advisors. He's surrounded by grifters, sycophants, second-raters. These are not people, he's not even surrounded with anyone who was in his first administration, which is, if you think about that, that's astounding.
It's astounding they go after Trump when we have Mark Carney running a grift right here in Canada. They don't call that out in our media. Our own prime minister has rampant conflicts of interest, and there's nothing from these guys. Sure, if they want to attack Trump's administration, I don't have a lot of in-depth knowledge of all the people in his administration, but I mean, you look at a guy like Pete Hegseth, whether they like the guy or not, he has combat experience. Meanwhile, Mark Carney brings in Doug Guzman, an RBC banker, to buy military equipment for Canada. They can call it all they want, but Rob Benzie here is a hypocrite for not calling it out at home here.
So he's not getting good.
And on top of that, did they even have these things to say about the Biden administration? Or when they literally kicked Biden off of the presidential run and subbed in Kamala Harris, did they have anything bad to say about that? What about when Joe Biden fell up Air Force One? What about when Joe Biden was shaking invisible people's hands, or talking about ice cream, or disappearing for weeks and weeks, maybe even months at a time? Did they have anything to say about that? Probably not. What about when Joe Biden walked away from reporters, smiling and nodding his head like he didn't even know where he was? Like, come on now. Come on. It's just insane. The mainstream media, they love to go after Trump because they get easy views. They get... You want to talk about grifters. You want to talk about grifters. The mainstream media and any topic with Donald Trump. There you go. That's a grift in its own. And the mainstream media plays it day in and day out because they know it will bring in viewers. They know they'll make money off of it. They know whatever Donald Trump does dictates the news that day. And that's literally just the fact. The mainstream media loves him.
Advice, not that he would take it if he did, I guess. I think we should do what our friend David Frum recommended and just bide our time, keep and negotiate with Donald Trump next year when he's in an even weaker position. Because as Brian said, he is a lame duck. The midterms next year will be a bloodbath. Even if the Democrats continue to shoot themselves in the foot on certain issues, it doesn't matter. The hatred of Donald Trump, as Corey pointed out, he's underwater in the polls, and it will just mount as they're suppressing the release of data about prices and employment. What does that tell you? That tells you that he doesn't want people to know how bad it is, even though all they have to do is go into their neighborhood Tops Friendly Market in Buffalo and see how bad it is.
Once again, what did Mark Carney just come out with? Bill C-15. Tucked away deep inside is the ability for Carney's ministers to not have to disclose dealings with companies. Once again, they can call it out in America, we'll then call it out at home here too. We have rampant corruption in our government.
All right, moving on to the Nick Shirley New York City scammers video.
How much?
Yo, what's up? We don't do no fucking camera.
Hey.
Fucking pushing. This our block, you nigga. Get the fuck.
This is your block?
Yeah, mother.
On September 7th, while filming a video showing the illegal counterfeiting markets by illegal migrants in New York City on Canal Street, I attempted to ask how much they were selling a substance for on the street, and after being cussed out and my cameraman punched, we left the block and never came back. Well, it turns out this group of migrants were wanted by ICE and were targeted in a raid that erupted in the streets of New York City. And after the next day, the streets were completely clean of illegal activity, and I thought the chaos was over. However, I came back to New York City a few weeks later, and while walking through the area, the migrants noticed me, and all hell broke out.
The scammers just recognized me.
Sir, you can't be illegally vending though, all right? It's not. You never see me vending? I'm just saying
I don't sell. You're saying you don't sell? Are you kidding me? Look at all your friends out here. They're all sellers.
Who tell you do know that?
Do you know?
He's lying. He's lying.
I ain't lying. Look at all those bags and stuff. Look at all those bags. Look. You're the scammer. Why are you telling me to get that out of here? These are your streets?
Yeah, this is America, man. We all America. You're
not. Okay.
You from Europe. You from Europe. Look at this guy. You're racist.
How am I racist?
You are racist. Why you racist, bro?
How am I racist?
No, he's not a racist. You guys just doing illegally vending. He's not a racist. What is wrong is wrong. What is right is right.
And while the scammers and I were going back and forth, a local who lives in the area came
Look,
by.
now she's telling me thank you. Thank you. God bless you, man. We don't like scammers, do
No, I live in this neighborhood. I'm sick of these guys. They make the neighborhood garbage. They sell drugs. They sell illegal merchandise. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you, man.
Thank you.
Chaos here on Canal Street. The scammers don't even respect the police.
And then all the scammers got mad at me for recording.
Just like
What?
you guys record him. Just like you're recording him.
If you're gonna record me, I can record you.
So what you're
He was
doing
recording
is okay,
me.
but what he's doing is not okay. Is that what you're saying? That's what you're implying.
Do you see me recording him?
But he's recording me. Be with him.
But him.
No, other people.
Then don't get mad at me.
Huh?
Then don't get mad at me.
No, I'm not mad at you because you come here, you accuse us like.
Selling counterfeit goods? Is that a real
proof?
What
is that?
That's not real. Counterfeit.
So what?
Guys,
Okay, so what?
Just like you guys can record us, he can record you guys. Like we're recording.
Look, you're getting mad at me recording. Look at all these cameras. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Show your face. See how they treat the police? They don't even care about NYPD here on these streets.
Yeah, so this video's from a few days ago. I was going to watch it on stream, like the day or the next day it came out, but there was just so much going on. You had Milo saying wild shit, you had the Nick Fuentes interviews, you had everything going on. So, apparently Tim Pool might quit doing YouTube after his home got shot at. I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on. It all just seems like everybody's trying to fight for the smallest bit of power or whatever is left in the conservative influencer side there. So they're all just coming out with the most wild claims, but whatever. Let's move on.
Meanwhile, they're getting mad at me. I was literally walking back to where I'm going for tonight, and I had to walk through Canal Street, and that happened. Because they saw the video where obviously 9 of their buddies got deported. How are you? See, now that he recognized me, this is a dangerous street for me to be walking on here on Canal Street. That is no longer their block. I'm gonna take it down. You heard it here first.
And as I prepare to go back to Canal Street and take back the street, I want to show you the big contrast between people that support the law and other people whose empathy does not allow them to support the law, just like this lady here.
My husband showed me a clip of that kid, Nick Shirley, going around Canal Street antagonizing the men who are trying to just sell us some shit there. Wow. And you guys think I need to get a life? What a fucking loser.
Shut up! And as people want to turn a blind eye to this illegal activity and act like it's inhumane to have law and order on the streets, I wanted to see how these people would treat a woman if they saw her on her phone on Canal Street. So I sent out my mom onto Canal and said, act like you're on a FaceTime call and see what happens.
No camera. What are you filming? What am I filming? I just want to buy some presents for my daughters. I don't know which one to get. There's too much stuff here.
Yeah, but ma'am, don't be out here.
Don't go there.
Yeah, I don't want you to get in trouble. You're gonna get in trouble.
I'm gonna get in trouble?
Yeah, for that.
Okay.
And after having proof that it was not safe for a woman to be walking on Canal Street with a camera, I headed there myself to confront the scammers and to see what they would do if they saw me. But really quick,
I've never done this before, but we're gonna do a sponsor right now. And the sponsor of this video is Opus Clip. Opus is more than just an AI clipper. They're actually the fastest AI growth tool for creators. And
Alrighty, we're gonna get right past that one.
you guys up with a sweet deal. You'll get 1 week free and 3 months.
Oh, the sweetest deals from Nick Shirley. Alright.
Do you guys just buy some goods? What did you guys get today? Or is this a seller right here? Oh, Louis Vuitton. There's the dealer right there. There's one of the Asian dealers. So you have the Asian dealers right here. They have all of the stuff right here. They have the whole entire catalog right here. What are you gonna buy today? No yet. What's your favorite thing to buy here from Canal Street?
I haven't been here in about 20
Whoa, watch that. We don't do aggression here.
Don't look at somebody, man.
What's
camera.
that?
Why the camera
How you
not
doing?
me, man?
What's wrong with the camera?
Why the camera not for me, man?
What's wrong with the camera?
We got a camera to film whatever we want.
All right, we've made it now to Canal Street. We already got the people out with. Now we got the Asians pissed off, and then right here you have.
What's that?
The African sellers as well. What's wrong? What's wrong?
You're not going to yell us off this block. We're residents here. We are openly filming this. No one's going to do anything. We're filming. We're filming. This is open. This is property.
All right, we have now made it here to Canal Street.
Property.
Sweeney, you're local here. Is this normal?
This is local public property. You are entitled to film anywhere on public property. No one has a privacy right over anything.
What do you guys think about Canal Street and the scammers and now the counterfeit selling that's at rampant levels right now?
Yeah, it's a lot more than there used to be here, so it's a good amount.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Now we just got pushed out by one of the counterfeit sellers. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, look at that. A resident, just like that, just getting pushed out by somebody. Aggressively pushed and shoved with his elbow.
Now this is the main Canal Street. We're just on the corner of Canal and Lafayette.
Man, Nick, he needs some sort of security. I don't know, maybe he does. Maybe he brings somebody around to like follow him and stuff, but he needs more than one person. He's going around to the sketchiest areas, whether it's New York or Paris or I like all these places, man. It is wacky. He's got some balls. He's got some balls, man.
Look it up, look it up.
And look, they're all running right now. We ourselves, my presence has cleared this whole entire block right now. We got all these guys. I'm just walking through here and all these guys are clearing out because of my presence of the camera. Why do you think just my presence alone with the camera is scaring these guys off right now?
If they're not breaking the law and there is no criminality, why are they bagging up their goods as soon as we walk with a camera, not starting anything, not being hostile, and fleeing the entire block? I can't stand folks, especially people from out of state, saying, oh, they're just peaceful, they're not breaking the law, they're not breaking any laws. Or if they are not breaking the law, why does a simple camera from one person clear out 40, 60-yard Bo Jackson fucking dashes simply because you're coming out here and filming the street? That is very clearly, evidently criminal activity.
So these guys all packed up and now they're going to their next location. They still got the Rolexes out with the AirPods, but literally just my presence with this camera cleared out the whole entire block right here. Now they're just facing the wall. They don't want their faces to be seen right now. Look, these guys right here too. Now they put their hands up. Don't want to be seen. And a camera's not criminal, right? We can be filming here on these streets.
This is
I don't know if I can disclose this, but you're a lawyer. You're an attorney.
I'm an attorney.
Can we be filming on these
public
streets?
Property. This is no one has a privacy right over any inch of this. You guys can film me. I can film you. This is a sidewalk in New York City that hardworking, tax-paying residents contribute to.
Look, we
And
cleared
day
this
by
whole entire block right here.
Day by day. Overtaken.
This is the continuation of Canal. We're just one block into it from Lafayette. Now we're at almost Canal and Broadway, but look at this. All of this stuff right here.
There used to be one stretch that lasted like a single block, and it was peaceful, mostly Asian Americans selling goods. They kept out of folks' way. They were happy. They were nice to people walking by, women with their strollers. Nowadays, I had someone send me a message that she was walking with her 9-year-old son, and they offered him drugs right in her presence. 2 days ago, I'm walking with 2 girls. Someone said they'd slash my face simply for holding a camera. So there's another thing, too, is like someone had mentioned ICE. I've been living here for years. Other people have been living here for decades. Ask them. ICE came here from one day, for one single day, 24 hours. This place looked like Pleasantville. Women could walk peacefully with their dogs, with their children, having a coffee. ICE left, Zorn was elected. Block by block has now spread, and it is taking over entire zip codes. If ICE comes, they're gone.
What's worrying is the plain fact that this is no law and order is taking place here on Canal Street.
There's a difference between hustling, right, and trying to make a money, and then breaking the law, okay? Pimps, prostitution, things of that nature are law-breaking and are also hustles.
Entire block. We were around on the other block, and now this is another block completely filled with these stuff. Look, you can get Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Gucci, everything. And they're all obviously all counterfeit goods. And as soon as they see the camera, they're all ducking their face. Look, all the scammers have their faces down right now, or they're facing the other way. And now they're putting all this stuff away. And this open air market of fake counterfeit goods goes on for blocks. We've been from Lafayette to Canal, now we're on Broadway and Canal, now we're going over to the other side. And look, it goes not even down all the way more down Broadway. You have more blocks. This is the biggest counterfeit open air market, scam market, whatever you want to call it, open air in America. And look, now these guys are filming us. What they're gonna do is they're gonna film us, put us in their WhatsApp group chat. You guys saw as soon as I pulled up on the block, they freaked out because they obviously knew who I am because my video potentially led to some deportation. So the Canal Street vendors are on both sides of the street, from that side to that side, and then all the way down there as well. They're everywhere here. And look, they just
one more time.
They freaked out because they obviously knew who I am because my video potentially led to some deportation. So the Canal Street vendors are on both sides of the street, from that side to that side, and then all the way down there as well. They're everywhere here. And look, they just litter the streets, and they saw the cameras, so they moved off this block, and it just keeps going down and down. A lot of people are just gonna start leaving New York City if law and order is not upheld.
They're paying enough in taxes. New York City is one of the highest taxed cities known to planet Earth right now, has city, state, and federal taxes. And so there's already begun a mass exodus of folks who are sick of this shit because they're getting no bang for buck out of their dollar of taxes. So they're moving to Florida, where it has a lesser tax burden and has the enforcement of law and order. How does that help our tax basis for different projects that Zorn wants to do?
How much? No price? Free today? Everything free? He won't give me a price. Is it free today? No price. How much are the bags today? How much? They won't even answer me. Maybe I should start grabbing for free. How are you? How much for bag? Bro's acting like he's in the Fetty Fold right now. He's not trying to give me a price. What are we buying out here on Canal?
I bought me a little Louis bag. Y'all man.
They're clearing out right now. They're clearing out. They're clearing out. Just my presence alone here on the street is clearing out the block right now. They're yelling all sorts of stuff in French. How much? How much? Wallet, how much? No one will give me a quote with the camera. And how much are you making out here?
About like 700, I think.
Really? So he's making $700 a day out here. So these sellers are making lots of money, $700 a day. And keep in mind, that is all tax-free. A tax-abiding citizen, if they're making $700 a day, they're gonna be given anywhere between 20 to 40, potentially even 50%.
That's wild.
Depending where you're at here in the United States, back into the hands of the government. These guys keep it all for profit. You gotta respect the hustle, but also it's illegal. They have all of the Rolexes. Yeah. Oh. Why can't I film?
No.
No film? I was just showing the product.
He can film wherever he wants. It's a free society.
I don't give a
Hey.
We can film wherever we want to. We can film wherever we want to.
We can film here on the streets.
This is a public property. This is public property.
See how hostile they get?
Public property. Just filming. We're not aggressive, we're not hostile. That's the energy you get. Now imagine being a woman walking through here with your camera on, you want to take some pictures as a tourist.
And people might say, well, what happens to all the other women? My mom literally came down here, act like she was on a FaceTime call, showing my sister what kind of products they had. And they said she was gonna be in trouble for walking on these streets and filming. And right here on this block is where the deportations took place of 9 illegal migrants that were selling goods here on the street, and they were arrested, and it was a targeted arrest, and the man had been charged and convicted prior for assault, recklessly endangering, counterfeiting third degree, unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, criminal sale of narcotics, possession of a controlled substance, possession of marijuana for sale, making false reports to law enforcement, and resisting arrest. So all these people here are not perfect law-abiding citizens here in the United States, and the deportation that took place were because of crimes like that. And right now it looks like we had the police coming through right now. Let's see what happens. All right, they're already freaking out on us right now. We can film. No.
We can film where we want to film at. It's America.
This is the place where Isaiah got punched and they just jumped. How do you feel to see what's going on here and now everything's back up?
It's a shame. It's a real shame. You know, there's really no words. No words.
And to see this place where you were once jumped, just to come back with all the people right back here, does that make you feel like you're being protected here in New York City?
No, absolutely not. It's it does rattle the nerves a little bit being out here. You know, we're not being confrontational. We're not being aggressive to anyone. We're trying to ask questions, if anything, but people will always have it. People will be sensitive.
What?
People will be sensitive.
No. This is a nice guy.
We legal here.
Yeah. You legal?
Right now the people here we legal. I'm from here.
We're not checking documentation. The deportations that took place here were for some of the people out here on this block.
Exactly.
What do you think about the deportations that happened?
You can deport these criminal people, you know. Yep. But here you think the black guy here, a lot of people, they're illegal people, you know. You don't do crime, they sell on the street bags, that's it.
So are
you don't need to fight you today, you'll be fine.
Yeah, and what do you guys think about ICE?
They work. They have to work.
So you're in support of ICE coming through here?
I support it. They take it criminal people. You know.
And you're not...
Big time respect. But don't put it to me, TikTok, Nikki.
Okay.
We love you.
He's saying he likes
sorry
me.
for last time my boy fight you, you know.
And what do you think about when my cameraman got jumped here on this corner?
I think you finally do your work. I like what he did.
Thank you. And so you supported that deportation?
I support everything you do. It's your country. You have to do for everyone. Just sorry to disrespect you last time, my boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Nick, we love you.
And did he get deported?
I don't know. I think that Jack. I don't know.
You haven't heard anything back from him?
That's my people. I know them only here. They are married white girl.
So over the past few days, I've been acquiring some goods from these counterfeit dealers to go set up my own shop on Canal and see what they do to see whose block it really is. If I get chased off the block...
Wait, I thought he was joking. He's actually gonna do this. That's fucking awesome.
Then it is therefore their block. But if they get ran off the block, it's the block of American citizens. It's your block. Now it's time to go reclaim and take back the block. We're gonna go set up shop and we're gonna see what happens here on Canal Street.
Excuse me, guys.
All right, setting up shop. You guys are leaving? Wait, why? We're selling too. They're leaving. You guys want some? We're giving stuff away for free. Free stuff from Canal. We just cleared one corner. We're gonna go see what happens on this next corner. Block is hot.
If they want to come up and take block by block of selling illegal contraband, what is stopping an American citizen and a tax-paying resident from coming in here and setting up shop ourselves? Who's sues?
We got our own right here. We're setting up shop.
Bro, when you come out here, you be starting trouble, bro.
I ain't starting no trouble.
Yeah, man.
I'm working on this block just like you.
Yo, don't put that camera.
I'm working on the block just like you.
Yo, bro, on some G shit, you be on some bullshit, bro.
Well, I'm on the same block as you guys.
I'm not feeling that shit. Don't come out here with that shit, man.
We're setting up shop too.
Go ahead, bro.
What do I talk about?
You want some stuff? You want
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, bro.
What are you doing?
I got something.
He says he's got something for me. Can we set up shop right here? Why not? You guys want some free stuff?
Hell yeah, what do you got?
All right, so today we're out here selling on Canal. You can pick whatever you want. It's free today. See, now they're moving.
I'm not dumb. Trust me, I'm not dumb.
Why can't we set up shop? But you guys can.
I'm not playing with you, bro.
I ain't playing either. All right, they're gone too. Let's see if we can set up shop right here. We got a whole shop right here. Let's see what happens if I set up shop on their block. Can I sell right here? Can I sell right here? I got my block. See, look at that.
Get up out of here, bro.
Why can't I sell here?
Get that shit up out of here, bro.
Why can't I sell here?
Stop playing with me, man. I'm not dumb, bro.
We don't take threats of physical violence like that. I know my rights for self-defense. I know my rights to self-defense.
Look, we're clearing the block. We have just cleared the block right here. I ain't doing nothing. I'm not here. I'm not hostile. We're seeing what happens if we bring our stuff here.
This is wild, man. This is what I'm talking about. He needs somebody. He needs somebody other than a lawyer. What the hell?
We're seeing what happens if we bring our stuff here.
Yo, my nigga, my nigga. I catch any of my y'all in my face on y'all YouTube, I'm suing y'all straight up.
Sue for what?
Sue, we're on the street.
My face come up on y'all YouTube, I'm suing y'all.
Then you better move. Then you better move.
I'm suing y'all.
Look, we just cleared the whole block. The block's gone. Hey, not my Louis, come on. All right, so we just cleared 2 blocks at this point now. The scammers are gone out of this block. All right.
Let's pick up. Let's pick up and let's move around. We're moving. We just cleared that block. That block is now clean and clear. So now we got this guy coming after us. He's the one following us. He's saying, get off, get off. We're moving. We just cleared that block.
All right, yo, bro, I'm on your ass all day, man. Be on my ass. You fucking up my block right now, so go ahead, bro.
It's not your block. We just moved out the whole block. And what if I wanted to give you a Gucci bag? Would you take it? I got some free ones right here. I'm giving stuff away for free, sir.
I love how he's just trolling him. He's just screwing with him. You want some free stuff? And he's acting so aggressive, and he just keeps trolling him. It's, oh man. But like, honestly, he needs to be careful. Like, New York is, and they know who he is now too. That's another thing. Like, they know who he is by face and by name.
You want a Gucci bag or no? You don't want it? It's for free today.
Get up out of here, bro.
It's for free today.
Get up out of here. Get up out of here. Get up out of here.
This your
property? Get up out of here.
How you doing, sir?
Get up out of here.
How's your day going? Nice to meet you, sir.
Get the fuck up out of here, bro.
We ain't starting no problem.
Get up out of here. Get the fuck up out of here.
People can film on the street.
Get out of here, nigga.
People can film here on the street.
Yo, all right. Y'all still got to keep it moving out of here.
We ain't bothering nobody.
We're not.
No, I don't want to do that.
Every time you come out here, it's a problem, bro.
Look, we got the police right here. Show the police. We got the police right here. What do you think? This guy's telling me I gotta get off this block.
No, you could stay here the same way you could stay here. Listen,
Mind
no,
your business.
It's my business. It's
Get
my
out of here,
business,
man.
If he could be here, you could be here.
Get the fuck up out of here. Get the step out of here. Every
Step
time he's
off,
out
fish.
here,
There's
he's
no
starting
water
problems,
here.
bro.
You're the one starting the problem. Who started following me?
Man.
You're the one who started following me.
Yo, stop playing with me, man.
You're the one who started following me.
Every time he come out here, it's a problem, bro.
I didn't start a problem. And I want to make a point. I'm not angry at these people. I don't have anything against any of these individuals per se. But the thing is that law and order is not being upheld here in the streets as far as the counterfeit goods selling. It's just a gateway to other things. He's even gotten personal messages from mothers who's had people as young as 9 years old been offered drugs. So by not holding these people up to the crime as such as just counterfeit selling, it's just a gateway into other things happening here inside New York City.
100%. And we're not going to get pressed off of city blocks that belong to every New York City resident, regardless of the race, gender, ethnicity. What do you mean? If you want to talk to me, I'll have a conversation with you.
You keep yapping at us over here.
We're not trying to do nothing.
How? What do you think about the counterfeit selling and everything that takes place on campus?
People are trying to make a
Yeah, the guy continues to follow him. He's complaining about them. He wants them gone, but he continues to follow them. It's like, buddy, just walk the other way, and guess what would happen? They would be gone. It's fucking crazy. This is Ma'am Donnie's New York in a nutshell. Like, man. Fuck, wild.
living.
So you don't care that just law and order is not being upheld?
What is law and order?
Ma'am Donnie asking for donations. Maybe Ma'am Donnie needs to go out on the sidewalk and sell some fake Louis V. Like, those guys are clearly making a lot of money every day.
Law and order.
What is
That's
that?
a great question. What do you think law and order is?
I'm asking you, though. What do you think that is?
The laws of the land being upheld here in the United States.
But what kind of laws?
Every single law.
So the law to, like, kidnap people for making a living?
If they came into the country illegally and ICE finds out that they're illegal, they have the right to deport them. It's not a human right to be here in the United States. It's a privilege.
Interesting. So how do you feel about your privilege being born into this?
Yeah, I'm very lucky.
Yeah, so how about your ancestors who came here and stole land from indigenous people? How do we feel about that?
There's actually a conquered war, and then they bought it.
ICE is kidnapping people?
Kidnapping? Define kidnapping.
They're taking them off their street. They haven't done anything wrong. They came here to make a living because their countries are unlivable because of the U.S. imperialism that is happening in their countries, stealing their resources, their land, their gas, their way of living. What do you think you're doing here?
What do you mean?
What are you doing here?
I want to address that piecemeal, right? You said there.
My God, she brought up like 17 topics in the span of 30 seconds. Like, just choose one and then speak about it. And the fact that she's wearing a mask just is like the cherry on top. Honestly, like, my God.
They're kidnapping folks.
Yes, they're taking them.
If they are here illegally.
Are they here illegally though? You don't even know
These
that.
guys cross the border. Ask any of them.
Who cares about the fucking
Illegally.
border? You guys cross the border all time traveling.
Legally.
With the visa, legally.
Legally, again, the
There's
definition.
not a quotation.
No, no,
You
no.
asked me what law and order is. Legally is not a quotation that we throw around and put on Hallmark cards.
Because somebody
I'm sorry,
makes
it's not.
the law.
Yes.
Somebody gets to define the law, and it's never the people who get affected by that law.
That's a complete lie. We live in a democracy. The only
We
law
do
is
not
that
live in a democracy.
What do we
Trump,
live in?
Trump is in a fascist American
Trump
machine.
won the both popular and electoral vote.
He
that is
did
the
not
definition.
Win the popular
He won
vote.
both
The
by a
electoral.
majority.
The
You won the popular and the electoral in
If
some
a
round.
quarter of the country
I honestly feel really bad for these people. Like, there's no other way to put it. She is so lost. It's just sad. And you look, you don't have to like Donald Trump, but to sit there and just blame everything on him, to call him a fascist when he was literally elected. He's an elected government official. There was an election. Like, if he was a dictator, there wouldn't be elections. If he was a dictator, the government wouldn't have shut down for 40 days. Right? The legislation he wanted to pass, that was blocked. And then therefore everything shut down for 40 days straight. If he was a dictator, that wouldn't have happened. He would have just pushed it right through. These people really live in this reality that doesn't exist. It's just sad. I don't know how else to put it. It's very sad.
votes for him and half the country doesn't vote. Is that a democracy? What do you think a democracy is?
Every person that had the opportunity to vote, that was not taken away from them, voted for Trump.
What do you think about the counterfeit deal and stuff that happens here in Canal Street?
I don't like it. I like clear sidewalks. It's my neighborhood, so yeah.
Yeah, so people are like, this is a good tourist destination. They can come here. They can buy the.
Nick Shirley just walks away. He's like, I'm done with this insanity. Like, I got better things to do than listen to this crazy bitch go on.
Fake Gucci and whatnot. But the citizens that pay New York City taxes and care for their city and have to come through here every single day, what's it like for you?
Well, yeah, it's annoying. I never use the Canal Street station, so it's like a whole major station that I generally avoid. And yeah, it's like a lot of tourists also coming in, crowded.
You can hear her just screaming at the top of her lungs in the background. She's yelling so loud, it sounds like Nick Shirley is still interviewing her.
The streets, buying stuff, and making there be an incentive, a demand for my neighborhood to be worse. So, yeah, I don't know exactly the situation of the people selling. I think in some situations they're paying off like human smugglers that got them over here in the first place. So essentially we're making like slave masters richer because the money just goes back to, whoever's in control of their life. I'm not exactly sure what their circumstances are though. That's something I heard about like Door Dashers and stuff.
So it's super sad because a lot of these people, they're able, capable people from Africa. The majority of them are. They crossed over the border illegally. They came here. They didn't get any of the documentation. They couldn't get their working visa. So now they're out here selling stuff illegally. So it also highlights the fact that our immigration process here is messed up, and that's the effects of what happens when you do have open immigration. But the fact that law and order is not being upheld here in the streets, and people like you can't even use the subway station because you don't feel safe coming down here, is just what the point of this. We're not going after these people.
Than unsafe, I don't feel like I'm physically like under any violent threat, but it's annoying. It's like the, I watch kids, and when we're walking on the sidewalk, I say we share the sidewalk. If there's an abuse of the commons and we can't share it anymore because people are diminishing its value because they don't feel a sense of ownership over it, then it's just not going to work. New York relies on social harmony more than any other place in the U.S., so yeah, that's important.
If you're going to be honest about what's going on, it's illegal activity, and that's the truth.
We have successfully cleared out a few blocks here in Canal Street just with our presence, put in our bags. We weren't selling, we were giving away for free.
All right, we are going to switch gears. Thank you, Nick Shirley, for another absolute phenomenal video. A few hours ago, the Minister of Production in Canada, like all the industries and everything. What the hell does this guy do? Who cares what he does? He's useless anyway, but his name is Tim Hodgson, the Liberal MP. They're here to discuss the Conservative pipeline motion that will be brought before the House of Commons today. Now, a lot of things can happen today based on this motion. If it passes, if the Liberals vote yes with the Conservatives and it passes, the Bloc, the NDP, and probably, I don't want to say a majority, but at least a handful of Liberal ministers are not going to be too happy about that. And who's to say it will? If it doesn't pass, if it's shut down in the House and everybody votes against it, I can already bet, top dollar, the NDP and the Bloc will not vote for this. It really comes up to the Liberal Party, and if they are true to their word, which we all know they aren't. If the motion does not pass, Alberta is going to be... That's pretty much it. The one thing they want and have asked for, other than the 9 bad laws that Danielle Smith constantly brings up, is the pipeline, the bitumen pipeline that goes to BC, the coastal pipeline. That is going to be the main thing. Alberta independence, the rallies are huge and they will only grow. And today is a major deciding factor in that. A major. So we're either going to see the Liberal caucus and cabinet fracture more, along with the House of Commons, or we will see the Conservatives get shut down and Alberta get shut down once again. Alberta gets shut down, but only time will tell.
Hello.
Hi.
Canadians understand we're in a trade war. It's a trade war we did not ask for, but it's a trade war Canadians expect us to win. To do that, we need cards in our hands. We can never be in a situation where another country tells us we don't have cards. We have some fantastic...
Well, you don't have to be in a different country to know you don't have cards. Just be Canadian. I know we don't have cards. You guys have failed over and over again to do literally anything. By the way, question period, statements by members beginning very, very soon.
Fantastic cards. Our energy and natural resources. We need to develop those energy and natural resources in a responsible way, in an environmentally responsible way, in partnership with Indigenous peoples. That's what this MOU is all about. It is an MOU between the federal government and the Conservative government of Alberta about how we build together, about how we build interties between the Western provinces, about how we add nuclear to the base load of the Western provinces, about how we build the largest carbon capture and storage project in the world, a technology that's made in Canada, a technology we can export around the world. It's about how we work with Indigenous peoples and give Indigenous peoples opportunities for equity ownership. It's about how we work constructively between Alberta and British Columbia. This is a comprehensive agreement. It's agreement that the people of Alberta and the Premier of Alberta believes in. Canadians see the motion that's before us today for what it is. It's a cynical ploy to divide us. It's a cheap political stunt, and so we will not be supporting.
And there you go. That's all I wanted to hear. The 2 minutes roughly of word salad just for them to say, no, we're not going to support it. So the Conservative motion will not pass today. Alberta independence and separatist movements will grow further, and we will probably see nothing in terms of a pipeline, because that's really what this motion is. I'm sure there's other things in the motion as well, but it's like, where's the date? Where's the let's get moving? You know what I mean? Where's the pep in the step that the Liberal government quite obviously doesn't have?
The motion the Conservatives have put forward today. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm here to speak about the MOU and also the motion. The MOU, it's...
Yeah, I quite frankly don't care about what you have to say. So we're going to move on to the House of Commons, ladies and gentlemen.
Talking about how they can't pay for their groceries and rent. But last week there was a study that showed that in 2026 it'll cost at least $1,000 more for groceries. And one of the things they noted was because of climate change. What does my colleague think about the fact that we might need to take action on climate change to be able to keep grocery prices down?
Honourable member for Hamilton East Stony Creek.
Well, I'd like to thank the member for her question. I think she's touched on a point that the Liberals are facing a very big identity crisis. They don't know if they're for climate change or pulling oil out, or their caucus is completely divided on this issue. But to her question on economics, on unleashing Canada's economic future, this motion today will produce that. Like I said, it's a good day for Canadians. This is a day where they could vote, the Liberals and everybody in this House can vote to unleash Canada's energy sector and have good economic, prosperous times ahead. And I hope everybody here in the House votes with us today, because the people at home, Canadians, are counting on this House to unleash pipelines in oil and energy so we can become an energy superpower and rely on no one but Canada. Please vote with us.
Questions and comments. Question et commentaire. The honourable member for Windsor West.
Mr. Speaker, there is a cost to our inaction. Based on the current state of affairs that we are facing, our reliance on just one buyer, who we have to sell at a discount, no less, we are losing billions in revenue, losing thousands of jobs in Saskatchewan, Alberta, Newfoundland, and across this country. We are losing influence on the world stage because other countries use energy as a diplomatic tool, while we are sitting on the sidelines. The question I have is, when they propose an MOU with no solid timelines, what hope is there for Canadians?
The honourable member for Hamilton East, Stony Creek.
That is a fantastic question by my colleague, and I've said this over and over again. The Liberals are only focused on headlines. This is an MOU that's going to kick the can down the line and hopefully get them into another election by saying they were pro-pipeline. Nothing in this MOU actually says that they're going to build one. But this motion today will accomplish that. So I hope that they will join us and vote for a pipeline that they've proposed. The leader of the Conservative Party has actually put in amendments that they wanted. And to my member's question, yes, this secures jobs in his riding, in my city of Hamilton. Steel, we need steel, and we have to be self-reliant. So again, I encourage and hope everyone in the House votes for this motion. It's what the Liberals want, but we, in this motion, will do it faster and will actually make a commitment to Canadians.
Hear, hear. Hear, hear. There will be about 47 seconds left in the question and comments portion. After a question period, we'll now go to statements by members. Déclaration de députés. The honourable member for West Vancouver, Sunshine Coast, Sea to Sky Country.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize the Squamish Climate Action Network, or Squamish Can, on receiving the 2025 Edible Community Sustainability Award for outstanding leadership in community-driven climate action. And their impact is felt across the region. Their self-sustaining downtown school farm gives residents and students hand-on experience with regenerative agriculture, distributes fresh food throughout the community, and supplies healthy produce to local schools. Their edible school gardens and Indigenous plant garden, created in partnership with Squamish Nation elders, deepens ecological learning in the classroom and embeds cultural knowledge in the community. Through food security programs, waste reduction initiatives, community education, and strong policy leadership, Squamish Can is reshaping local food systems and strengthening the region's resilience. Mr. Speaker, I congratulate Executive Director Crystal Tenbrink and the entire Squamish Can team for this well-deserved honor and for their continued work to build a healthier, more sustainable future for our community.
Bravo, bravo.
The honourable member for Poilievre-Jacques-Cartier. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I'd like to pay tribute to the community organizations in Poilievre-Jacques-Cartier and to the men and women who keep them running day after day. Whether it's food aid, family support, culture, sports, self-help, or assistance for the most vulnerable, your work is essential to the vitality and solidarity of our communities. Behind every organization, there are often always the same people, those who give their time, energy, and heart with tremendous generosity. Our organizations are quite simply vital. They break down isolation and make a real difference in people's lives. I'd like to take this opportunity to appeal to the next generation. Volunteering is first and foremost about doing good for others, but it's also about enriching yourself as a person, making friends, and giving meaning to your commitment. To all of you, I want to say thank you. You are indispensable. Merry Christmas and a happy 2026 filled with health, solidarity, and hope.
The honourable member for Humber River Black Creek.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence Basin are home to 98% of Ontarians and more than 90% of Quebecois. It is a critical part of a highly integrated economy valued at over $10 trillion and extremely important to all of us. Yesterday evening, a coalition of groups dedicated to fostering a prosperous and resilient Great Lakes and St. Lawrence ecosystem welcomed parliamentarians, staff, and officials to a reception to learn more about this precious resource shared by both Canadians and Americans. Representatives from the Great Lakes Fishery Commission, Pollution Probe, Aqua Action, and many other groups were on hand to answer many questions. It was also an opportunity to celebrate the historic and continued investment made by the Government of Canada to protect and restore the basin and to further encourage this important work. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Calgary Signal Hill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Teachers can be the most important person in the life of a student, encouraging, guiding, inspiring, providing strength, support, caring, and love. Richard William Stark was such a teacher. A university basketball player and later a professional engineer, Dick Stark became a teacher in the 1970s. As a coach, particularly basketball, and a teacher of science and math at Luther College High School in Regina, Saskatchewan, Dick Stark had an enormous impact on thousands of young people over 3 decades. If you needed help or support, Coach Stark was there. He was patient and kind and possessed a great compassion and energy. He challenged his students to become better members of society and positive examples to others. Dick Stark inspired many, including me. Dick Stark died on October 10th, 2025. Rest in peace, Coach Stark.
The honourable member for Terrebonne. Mr. Speaker, the 2025 World Bread Championship is an international competition celebrating the excellence and expertise of artisan bakers in France. At last November's event, a constituent from Terrebonne distinguished himself in remarkable fashion. Damien Agliata, a baker at La Chope à Pain in Terrebonne, won 3rd place in the world and was awarded the prize for Best Brioche, proudly representing Canada among 14 participating countries. At this prestigious event, Mr. Agliata was accompanied by the owner of La Chope à Pain, Guillaume Roy, as well as 3 technical advisors. His father, Laurent Agliata, from La Chope à Pain, Philippe Bretignière, baking instructor, and Roch Desjardins, pastry instructor and team leader. I'd like to warmly congratulate Mr. Agliata on his award, his talent, and his passion, which have put Terrebonne on the world map of bakery. And I'd also like to give a shout out to the owner of the shop, Guillaume Roy. Thank you.
Calgary Skyview.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister admits that the vast majority of illegal firearms used in crime come from across our border. Yet instead of stopping those guns, the Liberals are pushing a $1 billion gun grab scheme that targets the wrong people. In Calgary, hunters, ranchers, and the sport shooters who follow the law are being punished, while violent criminals walk free. Mr. Speaker, law-abiding Canadians are not the threat. The criminals are. While our city faces rising gun violence, the Liberals refuse to fix the border disorder. That lets in nearly all illegal guns. Gun crime is up 130% because of their catch and release bail system in Bill C-75 and reduced penalties for gun offenses in Bill C-5. The buyback won't stop criminals or smuggling. It only targets responsible citizens. Conservatives will protect lawful gun owners, crack down on violent offenders, and keep Calgary families safe.
The honourable member for Sydney Glace Bay.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize Chief Terry Paul of the Member 2 First Nation, who's been named 2026 inductee into the Canadian Business Hall of Fame. Now, this is a testament to one of the most remarkable leadership stories in Canada. For over 40 years, Mr. Speaker, Chief Paul has guided Member 2 through economic and social transformation. Under his leadership, Member 2 became the first Indigenous government in the world to achieve ISO certification. Also, Mr. Speaker, employment has climbed to nearly 80%. Graduations rates are approaching 90%, and the community continues to grow and evolve, strengthening its economy, Mr. Speaker, and expanding its opportunities. Chief Paul has also led some of the most significant Indigenous business investments in our country, including the 50% acquisition of Clearwater Seafoods. His leadership, Mr. Speaker, has reshaped opportunity for Member 2, Mi'kmaq, and all of Cape Breton. His induction is well-earned and well-deserved. Walalin, Chief Paul.
The honourable member for Similkameen, South Okanagan, West Kootenay.
Mr. Speaker, for over 40 years, the Penticton Shooting Sports Association has operated a facility that includes multiple ranges on land lease from the federal government. But unless action is taken before December 31st, it will be forced to close forever. For decades, it has provided a family-friendly atmosphere for hunters and sport shooters in a safe and responsible environment. The range has provided an essential local training resource for RCMP and CBSA, and even National Police Force. President Brian Sauvé said today in the Public Safety Committee that RCMP need more training facilities like this one. MPs at that same committee unanimously passed a motion to support the extension of the club's lease, and over 10,000 Canadians signed a petition. I call on the Minister for Agriculture to renew the lease of the Penticton Shooting Sports Association.
The honourable member for Saint Jean. Mr. Speaker, today I'd like to pay tribute to someone with a remarkable professional career. Not only has she been a colleague for 6 years, she is now also a friend. Diane Godin has been a pillar of my office and a key figure in political life since the fall of 1994. Over the years, she has served 5 members of this place with remarkable professionalism: Louise Baudouin, Yves Lessard, Bertrand Saint-Arnaud, Dave Turcotte, and myself. Although we like to tease Diane, she is proof that age only matters in one place, the heart. Diane's a bit like our Dominique Michel. Even though she sometimes talks about when she's going to retire, we remind her we can't do without her. And for good reason. She's a rock star in community networks, and not a day goes by without someone telling me about the incredible service she provides constituents. Empathy and kindness are her calling card. Thank you, Diane, for your big heart and for the countless lives you've touched. Quebec and Saint Jean owe you a lot.
The honourable member for Kitchener-Conestoga.
Speaker, today I rise to honour Adolf Haefman of Wellesley Township, who passed away this fall at the age of 95. Adolf's life was a story of resilience and of service. Born in Poland, he fled with his family during the Second World War, immigrating to Canada with just 15 cents in his pocket. He worked on farms, then in Kitchener's manufacturing sector, before building a new life in Wellesley Township. In 1970, Adolf and his wife Emily purchased a small grocery store in Wellesley and turned it into a thriving business. His character shone through in the quiet moments, gestures like slipping food into the bag of a family in need, or granting credit with no questions asked. Adolf Haefman helped found the Wellesley Apple and Butter and Cheese Festival, a tradition that continues to bring our community together every year. He was named Wellesley Citizen of the Year and remained a pillar of generosity throughout his life. To his family and friends, thank you for sharing Adolf with us. His life reminds us that true success is measured by the lives we touch. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Niagara West.
Mr. Speaker, it really does pay to be Brookfield under this government. Just last month, Canadians were told we're sending $528 million of our money to the European Space Agency. That's great news for European jobs, and an even bigger coincidence for Brookfield, because it just happens to own 50% of a campus in the UK that's home to a major ESA faculty. I'm sure the Prime Minister, the former chair of Brookfield Asset Management, was just as surprised as the rest of us when this deal landed. This is the same Brookfield that, while the Prime Minister was in the chair, used Bermuda addresses about bike shops and Cayman Island post office boxes to avoid paying billions in Canadian taxes. Billions that could have helped more than the 2.2 million Canadians now relying on food banks every month, or the young families who've given up of dreaming of ever owning their own home. Connections and connected insiders keep winning, while regular Canadians keep getting the bill. Conservatives will keep exposing this every single day, because clearly someone has to. Hear, hear.
The honourable member for Brampton South.
Speaker, as we wrap up the fall session, I rise to reflect on the work we are advancing together. This fall, our government has been working on strengthening healthcare and including simplifying residency pathway so Canadian in every community can access a family doctor and introducing the PSW tax credit to support personal support workers. Mr. Speaker, Budget 2025 also invests in communities like Brampton, including $25 million in TMU New Medical School, the first built in the GTA more than a century. We are also supporting state-of-the-art AI infrastructure at the University of Toronto. Investments like these have the potential to strengthen and streamline healthcare. Mr. Speaker, as we enter the holiday season, I wish everyone in Brampton South and across Canada happy holidays and happy New Year.
The honourable member for
It's Merry
Miramichi
Christmas.
Grand Lake.
2012, the Liberals accepted the resignation of Minister Bev Oda over a $16 glass of orange juice. Welcome to Mark Carney's Canada in 2025, where every Canadian now drinks $16 orange juice. The Prime Minister told Canadians he would be judged by the prices at the grocery store. Well, let's judge. Families in Miramichi are trying to survive on about $300 a week for groceries. With Christmas only a few days away, families in my riding are putting items back on the shelf in silence. People in Miramichi are being forced to choose between heat or meat. They say if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. This Christmas, Canadians aren't being invited to dinner. The Liberals government is leaving them only misery and tariffs to eat. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I would just point out, however, that the member mentioned the proper name of another member in his statement, and that is outside the rules. We have to use titles or writing names. L'honorable député de...
The honourable member for Poilievre. Mr. Speaker, over the past few months, I've had the chance to meet some extraordinary women who are doing real good in their communities. And this year, we're proud to celebrate the 80th anniversary of the Dominican Missionary Adorers, located in the heart of my riding of Beauport-Limoilou. Founded in 1945 by Mother Julienne of the Rosary, the organization has played an essential role in our community for 8 decades. Through their action, commitment, and contribution to the well-being of the community, they've supported generations of people, promoted social development, and encouraged initiatives that foster solidarity. Their long legacy is a testament to their constant dedication to the people and families of our neighborhood. As we celebrate this 80th anniversary, we pay tribute to an institution that remains a pillar of Beauport-Limoilou and a lasting source of inspiration. Thank you.
The honourable member for Grand Prairie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before this Prime Minister was elected, he said that half of all oil reserves should stay in the ground. But 2 weeks ago, when signing an MOU in the province of Alberta, he said that he's now supportive of a proposal to build an oil pipeline between Alberta and a northern British Columbia port. But now that he's returned to Ottawa, he's telling his Keep It in the Ground caucus not to worry, because this project is never going to get built. This Prime Minister has become a master at telling one group of people one thing and another group of people the complete opposite. But today in this House, Liberals are going to have an opportunity to finally tell Canadians where they actually stand. Will they vote yes to the very words that the Prime Minister wrote in the MOU to support a pipeline? Or are they going to vote no and clearly reject a proposal to build a pipeline that would finally cut Canadian dependence on the United States? Canadian voters and investors are watching. What's it going to be? It's simple. Do Liberals support this pipeline or not?
The honourable member for Mississauga, Erin Mills.
Mr. Speaker, today we welcome Team Canada's national cricket team to the House. That Canadian cricket is world class. Cricket in Canada has roots going back nearly 200 years, and it was Canada's first national sport. That legacy isn't just history. This team is carrying it forward. In 2025, Team Canada went unbeaten through the America's regional qualifier to earn their place at the 2026 ICC Men's T20 World Cup. Our second
No one cares.
With a new wave of homegrown talent and thriving local and national leagues,
I really don't
cricket
give a
is
shit.
flourishing all across the country. Every year, cricket enthusiasts from across Canada come to Ottawa to raise awareness, advocate for the sport, and play cricket with parliamentarians. Team Canada is proving that Canadian cricket is stepping onto the world stage with ambition and a future that Canadians can cheer for. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable oral questions, questions orales.
All right, here we go. Question period.
Canada needs a pipeline to the Pacific so that we can sell more of our product outside of the United States to other countries, make our economy more independent, strengthen the Canadian dollar, and the purchasing power of all Canadians. The Prime Minister has always been against, but now, last week, he did an about-face in Alberta. But when he came back here, there was a rebellion in his caucus, so I took the words from his agreement. Is he going to vote for those words, or can't we believe his words? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, the Memorandum of Understanding is not something that you can pick and choose from. The opposition leader chose a few words, but not all the words. He forgot the industrial carbon price, the strengthening of that price. He forgot the methane regulations. He forgot net zero 2050. You have to eat the entire meal, not just the appetizer. Eat the entire meal. Well, that would be great if Canadians could buy a full meal, Mr. Speaker. But he's talking about a carbon tax that continues to apply on equipment for farmers, on fertilizer, on those who deliver foods to our stores. And it's causing food inflation to the point that it now is going to cost $17,000 to feed a family of four for a year. Why not get rid of these taxes on groceries so that Canadians can feed their families? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, there is no carbon tax on Canadian farms, which have emissions below 50 kilotons. The impact of the industrial carbon tax on the price of food in Canada, according to the Climate Institute, is about zero.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, Canada needs a pipeline to the Pacific to sell $30 billion of our energy overseas, outside of the U.S. market, making us more independent, self-reliant, our dollar, and therefore Canadians' purchasing power stronger. The Prime Minister always opposed the pipeline, which his party killed, but last week he flip-flopped and promised while he was in Alberta in a deal that he would build such a pipeline. So I took the very wording right out of that deal and put it into a motion before the House of Commons. He experienced a massive rebellion in his own caucus, but if he's going to vote against his own words, how can Canadians ever believe his words?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, as the Canadian national cricket team knows, you've got to play the whole T20.
This guy loves to pander and do nothing else.
It's not just a couple of overs. It's not just the pipeline. It's not just pathways. It is a price on industrial price on carbon that goes to $130 effective. It is reductions in methane. It is net zero 2050. It is building Alberta strong, Canada strong, durable, sustainable, and...
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
I took the wording for the motion right out of his deal. And if he votes against the motion, he's voting against a pipeline to the Pacific. He's voting against overriding the discriminatory and anti-Canadian ban on shipping our energy abroad. He's voting against consultation with the First Nations people and the British Columbia government, and he's even voting against his own beloved carbon capture and storage, all of which I took word for word right out of his own deal. So if the Prime Minister is only in favor of a pipeline when he's in Alberta, but against when he's in BC and Ottawa, how can Canadians even keep track of where he stands on anything?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to welcome the fact that to my hearing, for the first time ever in this House, the Leader of the Opposition has acknowledged the constitutional right of Indigenous people to full, free and fair compensation. For the first time he's ever acknowledged.
More pandering.
Acknowledged the role of the provinces in the pipeline. But he hasn't acknowledged yet the need for an industrial carbon price or the reduction in methane, two things that the Premier of Alberta acknowledged, signed wholeheartedly as part of a complete meal.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, not only do we acknowledge the obligation to consult with our First Peoples, we put that right in the motion.
It's there.
It's right there. It's right there, Mark. It is. We put it right there so that he could vote for the words that he put in the agreement. But let's be honest, he never planned to honor the agreement. He whispered quietly to the Keep It in the Ground Liberal caucus, don't worry, there will never be a pipeline. We'll delay it until after the election, and then, God forbid, if we win, he says he would kill it altogether. Why can't he say one thing to all Canadians and champion the pipeline with us today?
The Right Honourable Prime
Where's the pipeline, Mark?
Mr. Speaker, the MOU between the Government of Canada and the Province of Alberta
boy, here we go, more
is
pandering.
about a pipeline. It is about carbon capture and storage. It is about interties with the clean electricity grid of British Columbia. It's about artificial intelligence data centers. It is about an industrial carbon price that works. It is about
he
methane
loves
regulations
the industrial
that get methane
carbon
down
pricing.
75%, so that we can have the
He
lowest
just
emission,
loves
low
it.
risk, lowest cost oil in the world and build this country.
I would just like to point out. Oh, hold on. Hang on.
We put the interties
I thought Pierre was
proposal
done.
right in the motion, right out of his deal. We put the carbon capture right in the motion, right out of his deal. We put the pipeline and the overriding of the oil shipping ban right in the motion. It came right out of the deal that he signed. So now it's clear that the only thing he really cares about is that it doesn't include an industrial carbon tax that will drive jobs out, drive grocery prices up. Why is it that he wants a carbon tax without a pipeline when what we really need is a pipeline without a carbon tax?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the grand reveal has been made. Mr. Speaker, I'm not a lifelong member of this House, so I don't know all the rules, but I don't think there's a limit on the size of motions. And in fact, since the MOU is already translated, I think it would be very easy to take the entire MOU in both official languages and propose them if the members opposite would support everything that the Premier of Alberta has done.
That's a very good question.
I was just going to say that there's a bit of a storm picking up outside. It looks like the wind is picking up and the snow is starting to kind of fall, maybe drifts of snow. So if the stream randomly cuts off, it's probably because the power went out.
Former Minister of the Environment and former Minister of Heritage. And apparently he's not very happy, but still a member of the Liberal caucus. And he has described the setbacks and the problems with the agreement between the Prime Minister of Canada and the Premier of Alberta. What I need to know from the Prime Minister is he going to choose the environment and his own caucus, or is he going to choose the investors in the oil companies? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, the government has chosen Canadians, the future of all Canadians. That means good jobs. That means a sustainable, prosperous economy with major investments in every form of energy and with a future for Quebec that is clean and prosperous. The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly. The Prime Minister's words are more cute than they are specific. Moving on to the religious exemption, does the Prime Minister agree with his Justice Minister? Or is he not in agreement with his Minister of Justice? Does he agree with the Justice Minister who seems to agree with the Bloc? So what I'd like to know is what is his position, and I think people have a right to understand his personal position. Does the Prime Minister, is he ready to respect religious minorities, or is he going to respect all Quebecers? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, Bill C-9, which the member across the way is talking about, it's a bill that is there to protect religions. It's to protect temples, synagogues, churches, mosques. And I know that members of the Justice Committee are currently discussing changes, possible amendments to that law. The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly. So among the religions to be protected, is there Adil Sharkawi, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, we've learned that somebody who's close to the Prime Minister and who's close to the Liberal Party of Canada, we believe that it's just like in the Trudeau era, we've understood that this person has spoken out in favor of the discount drivers, the drivers who are dangerous on our roads. I'd like to ask the Prime Minister, is he going to serve the Friends of the Liberal Party, or is he going to serve Canadians and their safety? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, unacceptable words are always unacceptable, and that's clear. That's absolutely clear.
And what words are unacceptable, Mark?
We are working, and always working, to protect...
Well, what are you going to define as hate?
Truckers. We are always working to protect rights, and that is why the government is tightening the rules for truckers.
Oh, and the illegal truckers as well. That's just a great one.
Mr. Speaker, speaking of trucks, they take steel. Unlike what the Prime Minister said when he asked a reporter whether he or anybody uses steel anymore in Canada. You know, farm equipment takes steel as well. And farming takes fertilizer. All of these things are taxed by the industrial carbon tax. Sorry I have to give this elementary lesson in the supply chain to the Prime Minister, but it is the reality. And with this tax, food prices have gone up so that Canadians now have to spend $17,000 a year on groceries. Before Christmas, will he get rid of that tax, or will he be the Grinch of the grocery store?
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, for a fleeting moment there, I thought we were going to get another lecture on wood. And we were all bracing ourselves over here for another one of those Leader of the Opposition lectures on wood. I do take his point on steel. Indeed, there is steel in farm equipment. Indeed, Canadian farmers are the best in the world. Indeed, our Minister of Agriculture and the entire government are rallying behind them to support our farmers, to support our steel workers, to support our economy, to build big projects with Alberta, with British Columbia. We're going to keep doing that, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Yet the Prime Minister is afraid to stand up and debate grocery prices. He says he knows so much about inflation. Well, he's certainly caused a lot in his life, Mr. Speaker. Then he should be able to stand up and defend the very industrial carbon tax that he says is even more important than a pipeline from Alberta. An industrial carbon tax on farm equipment, fertilizer, food processors, at a time when Canadians are paying twice what they were a decade ago for groceries. At Christmas time, will he do the right thing, get rid of this tax so Canadians can eat?
The Honourable Minister of the Environment and Climate Change.
Mr. Speaker, let me make it really simple for the member.
Ah, come on, Mark. Stand up, Mark. What are you doing? Come on, buddy.
We have to be able to hear the minister.
Nobody wants to
the
hear the
honourable
minister.
from the top, please.
From the top. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Apparently, I need to repeat it again and again, so let me do that. To make it simple for the member opposite, the industrial carbon price does
God,
not
that was such a
increase
good
the cost
comeback.
of food. It
Everybody
does
forgot
not
to
apply
cheer and
farms.
laugh.
But more than that, if we're going to look at that food price report that he is referring to, perhaps he wants to refer to the other parts of it, which is climate change and weather events have become a growing concern for agricultural producers, and increasingly severe and unpredictable weather events are disrupting agricultural production, creating supply challenges that continue to influence food prices across Canada. They should get on board to fight climate change.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, no matter how high they raise the taxes, they're not going to change the weather, Mr. Speaker. And the Prime Minister should be willing to stand up before Christmas and look the seniors in the eye who can't afford to feed themselves, the single mothers who can't afford to feed their children and buy Christmas gifts this winter, while he not only does an industrial carbon taxes on farmers and fertilizer, but a food packaging tax, which will increase grocery prices by $1 billion across the land. So will the Prime Minister live up to his promise to be judged by the prices of the grocery store and get rid of those hidden Liberal taxes on food?
The Honourable Minister of Jobs and Family.
The Leader of the Opposition has said he doesn't want to do anything about climate change. He wants to talk about imaginary taxes. But when we want to do things for Canadians that are really struggling, as he points out, like, by the way, index in Canada child benefit to inflation, ensure that we have a strong school nutrition program, sign agreements on childcare that are saving families in Ontario $10,400 a year on average, Mr. Speaker, they vote against those supports. So which is it? They don't want to fight climate change. They don't want to stand up for Canadians. What are they doing here?
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Stand up for Canadians. The Prime Minister won't even stand up in the House of Commons and answer a question about groceries. She calls, a moment ago, he was bragging about his industrial carbon tax. And now his minister says it's imaginary. So apparently the Prime Minister is imagining things again, Mr. Speaker. How can Canadians keep straight his story on grocery prices when one day he promises to be judged by the price of food, the next day he says we need more of a tax on food, and his own minister says it's all in his head.
The Honourable Minister of Jobs
Oh,
and
Mark.
Family.
Actually, Mr. Speaker, what I said was it's all in that member's head, that there are no taxes on food, there are no taxes on farms. But rather than look for solutions, Mr. Speaker, they just throw roadblocks in the way of every single Canadian who knows that they need supports in difficult times. And by the way, Mr. Speaker, what Canadians are counting on is a government that will stand with them, that will make sure that when they don't have access to dental care, they can get their teeth fixed, that as a senior ages, their income will be geared to inflation, Mr. Speaker, that the Canada Child Benefit will keep up with the cost of living. And you know what, Mr. Speaker? Time and time again.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, as Canadians walk down grocery aisles week after week looking at prices rising to the point where they can no longer afford even to buy beef or put meat and potatoes on their dinner table, they see the Prime Minister who promised that he would be judged by the price at the grocery store, unwilling to even stand up and defend his appalling record of increasing grocery bills by $1,000 for the year to come. It's not just his industrial carbon tax. He's doubled the deficit Trudeau left behind, which will once again stoke inflation. Why is he forcing Canadians to feed his morbidly obese deficit rather than feeding their families?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Financial Institutions.
Mr. Speaker, while that Conservative leader continues to spin the same old rhetoric, we've been focused on cutting taxes for 22 million Canadians. We cut the tax for first-time homebuyers. We continue to lean in on affordability, school food programs, automatic federal benefits, the list goes on and on. Mr. Speaker, we are laser focused on this side on affordability. That Conservative leader and his party continues to spin the same old tired rhetoric time and time again. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Well, I'm glad that member got that off his chest, but the reality is that the question was for the Prime Minister. He's the one who promised to spend less, and yet he doubled the deficit that Justin Trudeau left behind. His deficit is $16 billion bigger than he promised. He's added about $90 billion of net new spending, most of it on governmental operations. And all of this will contribute to the inflation Canadians are paying at the grocery store. So why won't he stand up and take account for the food price inflation he's caused while Canadians struggle to put Christmas dinner on the table?
The Honourable Minister of Natural Resources.
Mr. Speaker, newsflash, we're in a trade war. We need to work together. The government of Alberta supports this MOU in its entirety.
They gotta get rid of this guy.
Of Alberta gave our Prime Minister
Tim Hodgson is just
standing
he's
ovations
useless.
in Calgary for this MOU. The only people who are divided on this are the Conservatives.
They gotta do
should get on
something
board
with
and
this
build
guy.
Canada.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Maybe we should tell that to the Liberal member for West Vancouver Sunshine Coast, the Liberal member for Vancouver Grenville, the Liberal member for Beaches East York, the Liberal member for Victoria, for Vancouver Quadra, South Surrey White Rock, Honoré Mercier, Fleetwood Port Kells, Laurier Ste. Marie, Coquitlam, Port Coquitlam, North Vancouver, Capilano. These are all the 11 Liberal MPs who have spoken out against the Prime Minister's deal, and instead of standing up to them, instead of standing up to the Leave It in the Ground Liberal caucus, he's backed down, put them back in charge, and blocked his own pipeline, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, every one of those 11 people, indeed every one of the 170 people on this side of the House who were elected to put Canadians to work, building major projects, building it with Canadian steel, Canadian lumber, Canadian aluminum, protecting our workers, protecting those most vulnerable, coming to the aid of families. 170 Liberal members on this side of the House supporting a strong Canada, a compassionate Canada, and we are completely united on all of that, Mr. Speaker.
Poilievre just listed 11 MPs, at least they're riding. So that could be something.
Patriot Verchères. Mr. Speaker, we wondered why the Liberals... The honourable member can start from the top. We don't hear very well.
Poilievre is taunting
So he can go
Cardi
ahead.
right now with the list of MPs.
Mr. Speaker, we were wondering why the Liberals are protecting low-cost drivers by shifting their responsibilities to the provinces. Well, imagine this. One of the Prime Minister's closest organizers, Tej Dulat, works for the companies that hire these drivers. At the Prime Minister's swearing-in ceremony, this generous Liberal donor was even seated right next to him. No risk of confusing him with a lobbyist, because he's not even listed in the lobbying registry. He's using his privileged relationship with the Prime Minister to defend discount drivers, even if it means putting lives at risk. Is that why the Liberals aren't doing anything on this file?
Ministre des Transports.
The Honourable Minister of Transport. Mr. Speaker, it's this Prime Minister who has called on the CRA to crack down on these discount drivers. It's this Prime Minister who's ordered more inspections to make sure that the Canadian Labour Code is being respected. It's this Prime Minister who's making sure that trucking companies, legitimate trucking companies, can operate in Canada. And that's been recognized in a meeting that I had this morning with who? The Quebec Association of Truckers, who've congratulated the government for everything that has been done by this government. The Honourable Member for Pierre Boucher, Les Patriotes Verchères. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Quebec Truckers Association also says that there's a lot of things the government can still do to fix this file. When it comes to discount drivers, the Liberals once again appear to be protecting the interests of their friends. Unless it's the interests of their own pockets. Because in addition to the Prime Minister's organizer, who's lobbying unofficially, the Liberals have received $85,000 in donations from people linked to discount drivers. It's extremely worrying to see their inaction when road accidents have gone up by 35% in Quebec in just 1 year. If road safety is really a priority for the Liberals, how is it that the Bloc's 10 requests have not been applied? The Honourable Minister of Transport. Mr. Speaker, in all the actions that have been taken by the Prime Minister, by the Minister of Finance, by the Labour Minister and the Minister of Transport to crack down on these discount drivers, regime that I would note was created by Mr. Harper, one thing has been missed, and I think that Mr. Plamondon is going to come and reproach the Bloc Québécois because the Bloc is asking for the federal government to interfere in the jurisdiction of the government of Quebec to fix their issues and their problems. Mr. Speaker, we're not going to do that.
The honourable member for Chilliwack Hope.
The Prime Minister can't be trusted on pipelines. He endorsed Justin Trudeau's cancellation of the approved Northern Gateway pipeline and stopped the shipment of Canadian oil through Northern BC. Now he claims he might allow a new pipeline, but his Liberal MPs insist that it will never get built. Instead of playing both sides, the Prime Minister should definitively endorse a new pipeline to Canada's west coast and cancel the Liberal ban on shipping oil from Northern BC. Will the Prime Minister finally stop the doublespeak, stop obstructing the pipeline, and vote for the Conservative motion today?
The Honourable Minister of Natural Resources.
Mr. Speaker, for a future pipeline, it means diversifying our trade and greater competitiveness on a global scale. We need to put cards in our hand to fight this trade war. But there are things we need to do to get there. Things like in the Memorandum of Understanding that we can get united behind, like the carbon price. The Conservative motion conveniently ignores strengthening industrial carbon pricing. The Leader opposes something that the Premier of Alberta agrees with. We support the entire MOU. We hope they will.
The Honourable Member for Chilliwack Hope.
Mr. Speaker, we'll take no lessons from a minister who conducts Indigenous consultations over Zoom. And we absolutely will oppose a carbon tax in all of its forms, Mr. Speaker. This Prime Minister has said that he told his Keep It in the Ground caucus that the pipeline will never happen, while he promises Albertans that it might. So today he can finally come clean with Canadians and provide crystal clear clarity. He can support our motion, which is based on his MOU, vote to cancel his tanker ban, and greenlight a new pipeline. So why doesn't he get out of the way, stop obstructing the pipeline, and vote for our Conservative motion?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, what you're hearing from member opposite is exactly the problem with this MOU. It discounts several things. One, that in a federation, we work together. We work with provinces, we work with Indigenous communities to make things happen. Getting out of the way is only a strategy if you want to get nothing done. The way to get things done is to work together. And for every single member from British Columbia on the other side of the
storm
House,
is picking up big
how
time
can they
now. I
support
can
a
just
motion
see it
that
through the
ignores British
window
Columbia
blowing
and British Columbians
everywhere.
completely? They should be ashamed
Hopefully
of themselves.
we can make it through the next 30 minutes or so, at least for the vote. I want to see what happens on that, even though I have a strong feeling it's not going to pass.
Today is a monumental day for Canada's energy sector and for my province of Alberta. We will see if the Liberals stand behind their Prime Minister's promise to build a pipeline for Canada, or will he do as his predecessor and submit to his Keep It in the Ground caucus. Families in my riding are worried that this Prime Minister is paying lip service once again and that these are empty words. And it's no surprise as to why, after how this government has destroyed the natural resources sector over the last decade. So will the Liberals stop obstructing a pipeline and vote for our motion? Or will Alberta have its hopes dashed again?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Labour.
Speaker, I think that honourable member should tell her constituents this, that this government was elected to do big things, that we are focused on making the largest infrastructure investment in Canadian history, Mr. Speaker. We're going to be building bridges, community centres, hospitals, transit, thousands of good-paying jobs, Mr. Speaker, with Canadian steel, Canadian lumber, Canadian aluminum, with Canadian skilled trades workers. But the Conservatives voted against every single part of this, Mr. Speaker. Voted against building houses, voted against major projects, voted against opportunities for youth. When will the Conservatives get on board, Mr. Speaker?
The Honourable Member for Calgary-Midnapore.
Well, this Prime Minister continues to talk out of both sides of his mouth. He has mastered his predecessor's art of saying one thing in one province and another thing in another. Albertans want the truth. In a pathetic display of misrepresentation, his own Calgary MP couldn't even defend the leading sector and source of livelihood for Calgarians. So will this Prime Minister stand in this House and tell the nation, tell Alberta, tell Calgary, and tell the member for Calgary Confederation that his government will not blame anyone else, not put this on anyone else, and that he will ensure a pipeline is built.
The Honourable Minister of International Trade.
Mr. Speaker, the MOU is about building Canada strong. The people of Alberta, I was born in Calgary. I talk to Albertans every single day, and they know that our Prime Minister is bringing Canadians together to build big things, to build a stronger economy. Meanwhile, the Conservative leader has spent 20 years in this House, including as a minister, and has built nothing, continues to divide Canadians, continues to play political games. Mr. Speaker, now is not a time to play games. It's time for serious leadership to step up and build Canada strong.
The Honourable Member for Edmonton Northwest.
The Prime Minister is talking out of both sides of his mouth on pipelines and tanker bans. Behind closed doors, he whispers to the Liberal Keep It in the Ground caucus that the pipeline will never be built, while signing an MOU to build one for Canadians. The Liberals say they are for a tanker ban, but then the Prime Minister promised to override it in the MOU. The Prime Minister promises Indigenous communities a seat at the table for a pipeline, but has ignored them for the last 8 months and is cutting them out of the tripartite decision-making table. Wow. Will the Liberals stop obstructing the pipeline by voting for their own MOU? Good question.
The Honourable Minister of Indigenous Services.
Thank you. You know, I want to speak to what the Conservative Party claims this motion speaks to. While on one hand, they speak to half the sentence of respecting consultations for Indigenous people, they are also speaking on the other side of their mouth to the jurisprudence that would allow these projects to move forward. So I want to understand, what are they doing? Are they consulting or pushing projects forward? Because that's the concern of Indigenous people. That is what they're bringing to the table. That is what we're looking at when they come and work with us in partnership. And that is the future that they want to decide on with us.
The Honourable Member for The Honourable Member for Acadianapolis.
The Prime Minister said he would be judged by the Minister responsible for COA knows well that fisheries.
It's the guy who crossed the floor because he wanted to keep his job. Unbelievable. Get him out of here. What a bum.
The Minister responsible for COA knows well that fisheries, forestry and agriculture remain at the heart of Nova Scotia's economy. When the Atlantic Economic Panel was announced 2 weeks ago, were representatives from these sectors included? And could the Minister tell us how he plans to ensure that these important industries will have a way to contribute to the panel's work?
Great question. The Honourable Minister of Justice.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Conservative Shadow Minister for Economic Development in Atlantic Canada for being finally permitted to ask a question about Nova Scotia in the House of Commons. Mr. Speaker, it speaks volumes about the Conservative Party that since he has joined the government, they are yet to actually replace him and go without a voice from Atlantic Canada representing the economic interests of Atlantic Canada. Yes, we rely on these traditional industries that he cited in his question, but we've appointed a private sector-led panel of business leaders to shoot the path forward on energy, on defense, on clean tech to ensure we have good paying jobs.
The Honourable
That's enough out of you, Sean.
The Honourable Member for Thornhill.
I think it's safe to say, after all of that, the Prime Minister regrets telling Canadians that he's going to be judged by the prices at the grocery store.
That's right.
Because these prices are skyrocketing and it's only getting worse. Now 1 in 10 people in Toronto are using a food bank, and even full-time job holders have to use one too. Instead of getting full carts at the grocery store, Canadians get to watch trending TikTok videos about making what they're calling poverty meals. That's out of ramen and hot dogs. So can the Prime Minister seriously say, with a straight face, that this is the standard that he wants Canadians to live under?
Poverty meals? That's fucking wild.
The Honourable Secretary of State for Children and Youth.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. While the Prime Minister is delivering for Canadians, let's
Delivering
take a moment to reflect
poverty
on the
meals,
hypocrisy
clearly.
of the members opposite in this House. They voted against meals for children at school. They voted against $800 worth of savings for families through the school food program. They voted against dental care. for seniors and for children, and they voted against saving parents thousands of dollars on childcare. If the members opposite want to talk about judgment, Mr. Speaker, they should start by looking at their own record. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Thornhill.
Is that after a decade in power, let Ottawa feed your kids, they've already admitted their failure after 10 years. Let me put it in context, though, for that minister. The number of people using a food bank in Toronto alone could fill the Rogers Centre 8 times every single month. And with the average grocery bill set to rise by $1,000 next year, the government's $11 a year tax cut to those who need it most isn't going to cut it. So no, we will not vote for it. Instead of giving crumbs back to Canadians, why don't they cut the taxes off of food and let Canadians have a meal at home?
The Honourable Secretary of State.
Mr. Speaker, for starters, there is no tax on food. That's right. We can start there. Canadian families with children under 6 are receiving up to $8,000 a year tax-free per child. This is a program that is tagged to inflation to meet and keep up with the cost of living. Members opposite, year after year, vote against investments like the Canada Child Benefit.
So as the Liberal government spends more and more and things just explode in terms of inflation, people will make more money. That's just fantastic.
For the dignity and respect of being able to provide for themselves and their families. Right now, Canadians are struggling more than ever to be able to afford things. And in my riding, I just received a phone call from an elderly gentleman who shared with me that he's now down to 1 meal per day. And he's desperate, and he's without hope. And he's looking at this government and he's saying that they've abandoned him. And so he's looking for an answer. Will the Liberals simply repeat their tired talking points about big government programs and the food school program, or will they actually provide a real solution to Canadians?
The Honourable Minister of Jobs and Families.
Well, if you listen to the Conservatives over there, Mr. Speaker, there is no solution. The solution is sink or swim. If you can't afford to feed your family, oh well, too bad. The state's not there to take care of you. But here in Canada, we've always believed in taking care of each other. It's why we're known for our universal health care system around the world. And Mr. Speaker, we've built on that. We make sure that we take care of people who need food. We make sure that families who need extra help get the Canada Child Benefit. We make sure that if you're working poor, you get a working income tax benefit. Because why, Mr. Speaker? We believe that Canada is stronger when it includes all of us.
The Honourable Member for Lethbridge.
I don't even know what she was just going on about.
Canadians are not asking for more government programs or to be spoken to in the manner that that minister just did. They're simply asking to be respected and empowered to be able to provide for themselves. And one of the best ways that this government can do that is by taking unnecessary taxes off of food. According to the latest report, food prices next year are going to go up by about $1,000 more per family. $1,000. There's a woman in my riding who recently reached out to me. She has 4 kids, and she relies on the food bank. She feels desperate and without hope. She just wants the dignity of being able to provide for her kids. Well, the Liberals here.
The Honourable Minister of Environment and Climate Change.
Speaker, I think that you've heard it from this side, and we will keep on saying it. We are there to support Canadians, and you hear about the many programs that they voted against that we are putting in place to support Canadians. But if we're going to rely on that food report, also should look at what it said about, for example, the price of beef, which says nearly a decade of drought in the leading beef-producing area of Canada has resulted in the smallest number of cattle since the late 1980s. Reduced supply and consistent demand creates upward pressure. The cost of food is going up because of climate change. There is no tax on food, but we will be there to provide the programs to help Canadians.
The Honourable Member for York Durham.
Here's a resident they're not supporting, Mr. Speaker. He wrote to me and said, quote, "I have lived in the same neighborhood for more than a decade, and almost every essential cost of living has increased dramatically. He had the receipts for his groceries from $200 a month to $600 a month. And what did the Prime Minister say? We should judge him by the price of groceries at the store. Well, that's some judgment, Mr. Speaker, some failure. And next year will get worse. Canadians will pay $1,000 or more, according to the Food Rights Report. Given those struggles, will the Prime Minister end his inflationary spending, scrap the carbon tax, and get rid of the new fuel tax?"
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, it's almost the holidays. Goodwill to all. The opposition leader says, nah, Let's circle back next year after my leadership review. Meanwhile, hardworking Canadians wait for a well-earned tax break. They wait for a $50,000 first-time
What are you
homebuyer's
even
tax cut.
talking about?
Children wait for healthy
What
meals
are
at
you
school.
going on
Families and
about,
seniors
Ryan?
wait for affordable housing. And in addition to that, that member won't even stand up in this House and support the healthcare infrastructure fund that would build a hospital in Durham region that's badly needed for families. He should be ashamed of himself.
The honourable member for Mégantic, l'Érable, Lotbinière. The Prime Minister sat just across the way, made it a personal issue. He told Canadians that he wanted to be judged on the price of groceries. Irrespective of the excuses the Liberals keep repeating in the House today, it was the Prime Minister himself who decided what he wanted to be judged on. Well, not only has he failed miserably to bring prices down, but the bill will increase by another $1,000 next year. Why has the Prime Minister duped Canadians who are increasingly lining up at food banks because of his inflationary spending? The Honourable Minister for Government Transformation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's rather unfortunate to spend so much energy to be elected, only just to harp on the same thing over and over again, speaking points from their leader to answer. It's even sadder to see that they vote against the childcare benefits, against the school food program that is saving $800 for the most vulnerable families. They voted against affordable housing, Mr. Speaker. They voted against the dental care system. When he talks about inflationary spending, I would like him to tell us what he even means by that. The honourable member for Mégantic-l'Érable, Lotbinière. Consultants, bureaucracy, all of that. No Liberals has stood up to defend the Prime Minister who said to Canadians, "You will judge me on the price of groceries." That is what he said. 36% of Quebecers face food insecurity, 3 million visits per month to food banks in Quebec. The Prime Minister's wealthy friends are certainly not affected by the reality of families skipping meals. They have enough money, they eat their fill. He promised to lower food prices. He misled Canadians. Will he stop his inflationary spending so that families can finally eat their fill, Mr. Speaker? The Honourable Minister. In the previous answer, Mr. Speaker, I listed everything against which they voted that supports people in his riding, Quebecers and Canadians from coast to coast to coast. We were elected to give opportunities to all Canadians and to all Quebecers, and that's what we're doing. 54,000 jobs created in November, 67,000 in October, 60,000 created in September. Unemployment is going down, inflation is going down, Mr. Speaker, because on this side of the House, we are building the strongest G7 economy. The Honourable Member for Chicoutimi-Le-Fjord. Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister said that we needed to judge him on the cost of groceries. 8 months later, the price of food has exploded and families can't feed themselves. The 2026 report forecasts a worsening situation in Saguenay. 70 organizations that offer food assistance confirm that requests have gone up faster than what is available. When will the Prime Minister end his inflationary spending so that Canadians can eat their fill? The Honourable Leader of the Government in the House. Mr. Speaker, I would like to recognize how good my colleagues' local teams are, hockey-wise, but what he doesn't recognize is that no one in the Saguenay is saying, take these programs away. Remove the school food program, we don't like it. Remove support for organizations, we don't like it. Remove support for volunteers, we hate that. Remove the housing benefits. No one is saying that in the Saguenay, Mr. Speaker. The member should vote with us to keep these supports for the people of the Saguenay and elsewhere in our country. The Honourable Member for Chicoutimi-Le-Fjord.
Oh, Carney's gone. He ran
Mr.
away.
Speaker,
I wonder when that
Liberals need
happened.
to stop burying their heads in the sand, and they need to be aware of what is actually happening on the ground. The majority of requests now come from families where both parents work. We're no longer talking about single parents, and that's alarming. The Canadian Food Report predicts an additional $1,000 per year per family for food, one of the largest increases ever seen in our history. When will the government allow Canadians to finally feed themselves with dignity? The Honourable Leader of the Government in the House of Commons. Mr. Speaker, my colleague, the Minister for Public Services and Procurement, asked a very pertinent question earlier. What is an inflationary expenditure at the end of the day? Month after month, day after day, week after week, in these halls, we're asking, is it supporting aluminium workers? Is it helping kids eat at school? Is it helping people with their dental care? Is that inflationary spending? Is it health transfers to province? What is an inflationary spending? After all of these months, could we finally get a definition of an inflationary spending?
The honourable member for Winnipeg South Centre.
Mr. Speaker, in my father's dying days, he mustered the courage to stand in this chamber to fight for the passage of his private member's bill that set out a vision for the prairie provinces to continue playing their prominent role in our federation. That vision was realized with the passage of the Green Prairie Economy Act, which received royal assent shortly after his passing on December 12, 2022. Can the minister responsible for prairies share how the newly announced Prairie Partnership Initiative enhances this vision and establishes new opportunities for growth across Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba? Thank you.
The Honourable Minister.
I want to thank the member for Winnipeg South Centre for his question and for his continued support as we advance the legacy that his father set in motion for a stronger prairie economy.
Hear, hear.
The Prairie Partnership Initiative is a new coordinated approach that gives significant prairie projects a clear pathway through the federal system so that they can move from ambition to action. By aligning federal expertise with prairie priorities, the PPI will help meet this critical moment by positioning the prairies at the...
The Honourable Member for Middlesex.
The Prime Minister told Canadians that he should be judged by prices at the grocery store. Well, Canadians have judged, and they're angry.
I have no idea what was going on there.
In 2015, the Canadian grocery bill was $159 and after 10 years, it's more than doubled now to $338. Greg from
this
Komoka
vote should
wrote
be
me
coming
to
up
say
soon.
that he's
Question
sick of the
period
rules
should
for
be
you
done
and not for me
very
attitude.
shortly.
Speaker, families can't afford meat and they're lining up at food banks while these Liberals continue to feast at public expense. So why does this Prime Minister think that he deserves luxury while Canadians can't afford lunch?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Sport.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, watching the leader of the Conservative Party lose in slow motion today has been a little bit amusing, but what's more interesting is watching him do it with a big grin on his face because he's so proud of himself. He's proud to vote against childcare, and he's proud to vote against school food programs, and he's so proud to vote against affordable housing. But what else he's proud of today, he's also proud to call climate change just weather. And he's also proud to refer to Indigenous people with a possessive noun. They're not ours. Mr. Speaker, he seems very proud of himself, but you know what Canadians are proud of? They're proud of our institutions. They're proud of programs that support them, and they're proud of this side, on this government, we're supporting them.
The Honourable Member for Middlesex London.
Are starving, and this member is making fun of things, and I say the Liberals should all be judged by the prices at the grocery store. Bad Liberal policies are what's driving up the cost of food by $1,000 next year. Caitlin from Thames Centre says the government is driving us into systemic destruction at the cost of food, fuel, and groceries soar. Elber from Strathroy asks why the Prime Minister promised cheaper groceries, safer streets, and more homes, but after 7 months, all he's delivered is higher prices, higher crime, and less for hardworking Canadians. So do the Liberals even care that there's over 2.2 million visits to food banks, or are they just here to help Brookfield line the Prime Minister's pockets?
The Honourable Secretary of State.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, there's no taxes on groceries. There's no taxes on food. There will never be taxes on groceries, and there will never be taxes on food. And that member's a farmer. She should know better. She should know that the industrial carbon price has absolutely no impact on the cost of groceries, Mr. Speaker. They keep talking about things like the price of coffee. Maybe they should stand up and talk about how industrial carbon pricing in Canada affects the Colombian price of coffee, Mr. Speaker. It's absurd, Mr. Speaker. They're very, very proud to vote against all these programs that support Canadians, but if they could just provide Canadians with one solution to help them at the grocery store over this holiday season. Merry Christmas. Yeah, truly, Merry Christmas.
The honourable member for Saskatoon South.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Prime Minister told Canadians he should be judged by prices at the grocery store. Guess what, Mr. Speaker? I have a better idea. Come to my food bank. 23,000 visits a month at the Saskatoon Food Bank. And better yet, we have a resurgence of scurvy in northern Saskatchewan. The Canadian Food Price Report confirms additional $1,000 will be needed next year to feed a family of 4. So is the Prime Minister ready to remove the industrial carbon?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Rural Development.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Let's see what has this tired and old opposition accomplished in the last 10 years. Addressing food affordability, zero achievement. Addressing housing needs, zero achievement. Building major projects, zero achievement. Addressing the challenge of tariff, zero achievement. But their negative attitude towards
Your party
Canada
was in
must
power
stop.
for the
As a
last 10
girl
years,
stop
you
attacking
goofball.
Canada, I'm
What a
saying
moron.
today I'm going to take every single one of them off my Christmas card list.
The honourable member for Surrey Newton.
Mr. Speaker, last week the President of the Treasury Board held and hosted a co-summit on reduction of the red tape, bringing together the leaders from across the country. Could the President update the House what came out of this summit and how this work will help cut red tape, speed up approvals, and strengthen Canada's economy?
The Honourable President of the Treasury Board.
Mr. President, I would like to thank my colleague for this excellent question. The summit was an important step forward, building on the 60-day red tape review we launched in July. We recently announced a new series of horizontal reviews. These reviews look across government to eliminate regulatory barriers and deliver faster and more reliable services, so we can grow our economy faster and build Canada strong, and to build the strongest economy in the G7. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Edmonton Griesbach.
Mr. Speaker, this Prime Minister told Canadians he should be judged by prices at the grocery store. Well, 8 months later, those prices have skyrocketed. I've heard countless horror stories in Edmonton of families struggling to afford food. I've even heard of single moms selling their furniture online to pay for rent and groceries. Just this week, Miranda from North Edmonton told me, I honestly don't know how people are getting by. It's heat or eat. When will these Liberals cut their inflationary spending and gas the industrial carbon tax so Canadians can afford to eat?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Seniors.
2025 winds down and we're reviewing our Spotify Wrapped. Let's look at the Conservatives' 2025 Wrapped. In 2025, the Conservatives lost their 4th election in a row, spent Alberta's money on a by-election so they could say they created at least one job, invented imaginary taxes, and presented a platform with no plan to support seniors or families. Mr. Speaker, they need to work on their playlist because they are not listening to the same tunes as Canadians.
The honourable member for Vancouver Kingsway.
The former Liberal Environment Minister says this government approved a bitumen pipeline that abandons Canada's climate goals and risks BC's coast. In this House, the Prime Minister said British Columbia and impacted First Nations must agree to this project. In BC, the Energy Minister claimed free, prior, and informed consent is required. But the MOU signed between Ottawa and Alberta says no such thing. Liberals are telling one story here, another in BC, and yet another in Alberta. Canadians deserve to know, is consent for this pipeline required or not?
The Honourable Minister of the Environment and Climate Change.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister was very clear in this House. He said that the agreement requires agreement from British Columbia requires the agreement of First Nations.
The
That has been
agreement
said in this
requires
House, and
agreement.
we stand by that.
That's a good
stand
one.
by that right here, right now, and we will continue to.
Very
The honourable
insightful.
member for
Thank you.
Saanich Gulf Islands.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. One section of the enormous Bill C-15, over 600 pages of omnibus budget bill, that's not yet been even mentioned in this place, and it wasn't mentioned in the budget either. So the idea that the Budget Implementation Act just implements things in the budget is belied by pages 301 to 304, with it exempt at ministerial discretion the application of Canadian law to any entity, which could be people or corporations, at the discretion of the minister with no public oversight. Can anyone here, particularly the Minister of Finance, explain?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister
You
of
voted
Finance.
for the budget,
I agree with
Elizabeth.
the member that the budget bill is full of really great measures for this country. But one thing we can all acknowledge is that Canada has world-class innovators and entrepreneurs, those of whom will help us build the strongest economy in the G7. As part of that process, we're reducing red tape to broaden the use of something called regulatory sandboxes to help foster and spur research and development and innovation. We'll do this in a responsible way, in a forward-looking way, and in a temporary way. These will be authorizations that are limited, but these will help us keep up with the speed of innovation in this country. Thank you.
And that concludes question period.
All right, there you have it.
Je désire informer.
I'd like to inform the House that the volume of earpieces will now be reset.
Je suis maintenant
I am now prepared to rule
sur le rappel au règlement.
on the point of order raised.
It's not going to
Well,
pass.
we're going to wait a few moments.
And I noticed that McKinnon
So
and
that
Shear
people-
are talking
so
to
that
each
we can
other.
Get the volume down to
McKinnon ran over to Shear
level that will allow
right away.
for people to hear.
Je demanderai aux collègues.
I would ask colleagues who wish to do so to leave as quickly as possible.
Alors,
I'm confused. Are they not voting on a motion? What the hell's going on?
Point of order raised on December 4th, 2025 by the member for Saint Jean concerning the relevance of answers during oral questions. In her point of order, the member for Saint Jean argued that some recent answers from the government were not only off topic, but completely unrelated to the business of Parliament. She asked the chair to clarify
It's a point of order right now.
whether, like questions, the answers given during question period should also pertain to the business of the House. The member for Mégantic-L'Érable-Lotbinière raised a related point about the questions from the member for Charlesbourg-Haute-Saint-Charles during a previous sitting that the chair had interrupted before he could finish asking them. I will address these 2 points in turn. Regarding the answers provided by the government, House of Commons Procedure and Practice, 4th edition, states in section 11.12, and I quote, "The Speaker ensures that replies adhere to the standards of order, decorum, and parliamentary language, but is not responsible for the quality or content of replies to Period. questions." End Sure. of quote. It isn't, and it never has been, up to the chair to determine whether an answer is appropriate. Multiple rulings by my predecessors have underscored the chair's limited authority over the content of answers. In a decision delivered by one of them, the member for Regina Capel, on January 28th, 2014, which appears on page 2204 of the debates, he said the following: Successive speakers in our House have maintained our tradition of not intervening in respect of answers to questions, and I do not intend to change that." End quote. With respect to the slightly different concern raised by the member for Mégantic-L'Érable-Lotbinière about questions, House of Commons Procedure and Practice, 4th edition, in section 11.7, states clearly that questions should be, and I quote, "within the administrative responsibility of the government or of the individual minister addressed," unquote.
To play in assessing the admissibility of questions. My immediate predecessor made clear what the chair's expectations are when a member rose to ask a question. On December 10th, 2024, at page 28,755 of the debates, he stated, quote, "If members want to ensure their questions are in order and to get an answer from the government, they need to phrase them clearly and to quickly make a direct connection to the government's administrative responsibility," end of quote. This is advice that I also endorse without reservation. When such a connection is not made, members risk being interrupted by the chair. De manière générale, d'ici à ce que la Chambre modifie ses pratiques relatives à la...
More generally, until the House changes its practices regarding the admissibility of both questions and answers during oral questions, the powers of the chair to address their content will remain unchanged.
Cela dit, la présidence...
That said, the chair understands some of the dissatisfaction expressed by the member for Saint-Jean. The chair is in full agreement with an assertion made by my predecessor from Regina Capel in the decision referenced earlier, and I quote, "The onus is on all members to raise the quality of both questions and answers," unquote. The chair hopes that this sensible reminder will continue to guide members on both sides of the House in the days ahead. I thank all members for their attention.
Orders of the day.
Orders of the day. Ordre du jour. Ordre émanant du gouvernement.
Government orders. Resuming debate on the opposition motion on pipeline construction.
All right, I guess there's no vote.
Cold Lake.
Maybe it's later in the day. Maybe it's tomorrow. They're going to debate right now. So that's going to do it for today's stream. I will be live tomorrow once again at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as per usual. This is the final week. We're heading up to the final streams of Question Period. I plan to continue the streams going forward, but mainly just like the first half, obviously, because there's no Question Period. So I'll try to find things day by day to stream for next week and the next week, and then going forward until Question Period returns. Then the full 2-hour stream will come back, but after this week is done, Question Period's over. So the streams going forward will probably only be hour to maybe hour and a half. But that's going to do it for me. I'll be live again tomorrow for the exact same stuff. Maybe some different topics. We'll see. Moose on the loose. You know how it is. Anyway, have a great rest of your day or night, depending on where you are from. Take it easy, everyone.
Hours, rotating shifts, harsh weather conditions, yet thousands of workers show up every single day to ensure our houses stay warm in the winter, cool in the summer, and that the lights are always on when we need them. Canada's energy sector currently employs nearly 1 million people, providing strong